But I won't lose too much to my sister. My strength is overwhelming, and my dragon roar wave is the strongest of the 4 Zaka sisters. Red Dragon Zaka said proudly, which is the only thing she has absolute confidence in. Dragon roar wave. Yunshi also has to admit that her dragon roar wave is one of the most incomprehensible moves he has ever encountered. He can crack Red Dragon Zaka's dragon roar wave with the help of Red Dragon Zaka's own essence. Mobile natural disasters. The noble Red Dragon Princess. In addition to a little too innocent, as a dragon, she is absolutely in the super class. To deal with the twin witches, we have to use stronger attack, faster speed, defeat them before they use that move. Looking back at the fight, Red Dragon Zaka quickly found the root of her fiasco. It's not about combat effectiveness, it's about the way of attack. Her dragon roar wave almost broke the twin witches' defense. If she can use a faster and stronger dragon roar wave, and it's better to match it with the defense penetration attribute, then she can defeat the twin witches before they perform that secret skill. Does she have that power? Not yet, but Yunshi has that power. Yunshi's sacred dragon roar wave ignores all defenses, gives Red Dragon Zaka a feeling that is not even under the heart-seizing skill of the twin witches. What she can't do alone is possible if she joins hands with Yunshi. The double dragon roar waves. They can use Yunshi's holy dragon roar wave to disintegrate the twin witches' defense, and then use her crimson dragon roar wave to kill them. This is a perfect match. Let's challenge the twin witches together. After finding a way to turn over the situation, Yunshi's proposal to act together and fight together immediately captured Red Dragon Zaka's heart. Yes, that's it. As long as 2 people are together, there is no invincible opponent. Sure enough, this is fate. When my sister, Desert Dragon Zaka, found her dream lover, she must have felt like this. Although he is no match for Desert Dragon Zaka's lover, at least he is strong enough. It is better to say that there is no more suitable human for her than he is. There won't be another human who can use Dragon Roar Wave. Start special training right now. In order to beat down the witches, our synchronization rate must be higher. What's more, your Dragon Roar Wave should become our strongest killing skill. When the time comes to solve the twin witches, it depends on the strength of our joint efforts. She was defeated by Yunshi's Holy Dragon Roar Wave. Even if it was only 1 second, Red Dragon Zaka remembered it deeply. It was the first time that she met a stronger Dragon Roar Wave than herself. Our combination skill is called Holy Crimson Light. Red Dragon Zaka has even chosen the name of the combination skill of the two. It turns out that she likes such a shameful name. Yunshi looked at Red Dragon Zaka and couldn't bear to look directly at the name of the combination skill. The spiral light breaks through the sky, and the sacred crimson light covers the world. This is the verdict from the Red Dragon Queen. Red Dragon Zaka triumphantly raises Yunshi's hand and points to the sky. The huge magic energy is compressed into a laser and released. Dark red beams of light run through the clouds near the sun, shaking the sky. Look, the sky is burning, that's our proof of. Finally, Red Dragon Zaka's small face suddenly warmed up, and it seemed that she finally realized something was wrong with herself. What a happy and positive kid. She doesn't know what frustration is and always goes straight ahead. However, Yunshi didn't dislike her character. Rather say, he is also affected by her optimism. My attack is invincible. Break up. Nothing shall stand in my way. Even if it is the darkness of impermanence, I will break it for you. Learning from the tone of Red Dragon Zaka and recalling the time when he played with his childhood sweetheart when he was a child, Yunshi cooperated with Red Dragon Zaka with a smile. At that time, what did his childhood sweetheart say? Gold is the wealth of the gods, the golden princess is the child blessed by the gods, the gold of Rhine is her crown, and the sacred ring is the mark of the princess, offering the purest flowers for the dead gods. This is the speech of Miley. White leaves are beautiful ornaments, golden branches are swaying scenery, and bloody flowers are dangerous and beautiful crystals. May the great tree open its branches and scatter its leaves. This is the statement of Elphilus. Steel stands on the earth, roar and turn into the sharp blade of God, the sharp claw of devil, shining the star sea. We advance, we win, we will bury all the old times. This is the claim of Yili. Finally, Huahua's speech, even if everything is lost, the wings will still shine. Even if betrayed by all, the wings still fly. Only freedom is what we pursue, and our infinite won't be bound by anything. The highest wing will surpass everything. Well, in retrospect, at that time, the expressions of Miley, Elphilus, Yili and Huahua were a little strange. At that time, what did he say? Why don't you all be my wings? Isn't it good? Because the wings seem to be the strongest. At that time, he naturally felt that way. Now recalling it, it's really a shame. Wings? No way. Miley sighed, looking at Huahua with a slightly envious look. It's really hard to be wings. Elphilus wanted to say something, but in the end, she didn't say anything. I can't be wings, because, Yili pouted and took the place in Yunshi's arms. There is a price to have wings. Huahua also showed a little helpless expression for some reason. It is a huge price. But it's worth it. Because only with wings can we create miracles. Let's make a miracle. Red Dragon Zaka holds Yunshi's hand, and the expression on her face is almost the same as Huahua's expression Yunshi saw at that time. Both of them are full of confidence, even if the opponent they are facing is fate. Behind her, there seems to be a pair of invisible wings, which can let her fly anywhere and anytime, above all rules. Yunshi felt the power flowing from Red Dragon Zaka's small hands and said his heart feelings. Maybe, you can really create miracles. Run. In the morning sun, Red Dragon Zaka and Yunshi run hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, in the empty desert at full speed. Unlike yesterday's run, which was completely dominated by Red Dragon Zaka, this time she was working with Yunshi's speed to slightly reduce her non-human explosive power. Compared with Red Dragon Zaka's unreasonable running speed, Yunshi's running has both the steadiness of the hard body and the elegant feeling of the soft body. Maybe it can't be compared with Red Dragon Zaka in simple speed, but it is better in turning skills and grasping the center of gravity. Yunshi is excellent, and this is what Red Dragon Zaka, who started trying to keep pace with Yunshi, discovered. That excellent does not mean physical fitness. No human can compare with the dragon in physical fitness. What's great about Yunshi is that he can move at anyone's pace. At first, Yunshi caught up with Red Dragon Zaka when she broke out in an unreasonable sprint. When Red Dragon Zaka began to try to cooperate with him, he began to guide Red Dragon Zaka's steps so that both of them could make full use of their advantages. After running together for about an hour, he guided Red Dragon Zaka to learn how to stop, turn, and even retreat at high speed. Because of her extraordinary physical fitness, Red Dragon Zaka has never thought that running alone has so many advanced skills, and never thought that one day she would be taught these seemingly ordinary but useful skills. It's really an excellent learning ability. Yunshi is very pleased to see that Red Dragon Zaka, who started to cooperate with him, learned these skills very fast. The Dragon Clan is indeed the ultimate creature. How could he know so many things? Red Dragon Zaka looks at Yunshi with unbelievable eyes. When she really puts down her prejudice and looks at him, she could discover that he has many secrets. The god weapon she saw only once when she was dying. The talent that can learn Dragon Roar Wave at a glance. And these running skills that she didn't even think about. He must be a monster amongst human beings, right? Well, let's start the rehearsal of the battle. It took about half a day for both of them to find the most suitable running rhythm. When sprinting in a straight line, with the help of Red Dragon Zaka's unreasonable explosive power, Yunshi will give the leading power to Red Dragon Zaka, and let her drive to run with him. For the jump that needs turning or complex steps, it is handed over to Yunshi. This kind of practice greatly deepened the tacit understanding between the two people. Later, as long as Yunshi's fingertips tremble, Red Dragon Zaka will know when to run and when to stop. Yunshi only needs to feel the look of Red Dragon Zaka, and he will take over the leading power and launch his multiple turning skills. Last night's intimate contact let the two people grow up, whether it is their relationship or synchronization rate. What kind of attack are you good at in your human posture? Yunshi asks Red Dragon Zaka. Claws, lunges, blows, and bites. Red Dragon Zaka answers without hesitation. This is really the answer to the character of Red Dragon. It is all the moves of tearing the opponent. Yunshi thinks about how to cooperate with Red Dragon Zaka. This is also a test of the skills he learned from Kasina the battle god. The hard body is in line with Red Dragon Zaka's appetite. Well, try it. Next, let's move in this way. Yunshi did not consider the result of teaching the secret of the hard body and began to teach Red Dragon Zaka the hard body's fighting skills. Humans also have good fighting skills. Red Dragon Zaka is very satisfied with the fighting style of the hard body. That's right. No matter what the situation is, her fighting style is just 2 words, critical strike. Red Dragon Zaka does not have the word defense in her dictionary, whether it is Dragon Claw, Dragon Roar, or Bite. The skills of the hard body is very situated for Red Dragon Zaka. This kind of fighting skill, which transcends the limits of human flesh and blood, is very suited with Red Dragon Zaka's taste. She learned the 3 secret skills of the Red Steel genre, Lava Breathing, Lava Skin, and Red Steel Blood, in an instant. Yunshi looked at Red Dragon Zaka, who learned the 3 secret skills in only a quarter of an hour. He couldn't help sighing for the masters of the Red Steel genre. The difference between humans and dragons is incomparable. The physical quality of the dragon is really foul. Good, my hands are burning. Red Dragon Zaka raises her arm, which shows the red lines representing the highest level of lava skin. This secret skill was originally used to simulate the talent of the giants, so that they can have strong skin that will not be hurt even if they go deep into the lava zone. It is the basic secret skill for the Red Steel genre to cultivate all the life. For Red Dragon Zaka, who is born to swim in lava, she learned this secret skill effortlessly and directly entered the highest level. With 3 perfect secret skills, the following culture is naturally completed in one go. Inflamed. What Yunshi exerts is a thunder explosion that compresses the force of chi and blood, while Red Dragon Zaka exerts a red flame explosion from the blood of the red dragon. Thunderbolt. Yunshi was not idle. Almost at the moment when Red Dragon Zaka released the crimson fireball, the thunderbolt that compressed the force of chi and blood also blew out. The power of the secret skill that the 2 people jointly perform is not as simple as 1 + 1, but is integrated with each other, and the power is increased to more than 10 times of the normal secret skills. Flaming Thunderbolt. This is the name of the first combined move developed by the 2 people. Good. Human skills are not bad. The move that satisfies Red Dragon Zaka is enough to prove the power of this combination skill. Maybe it's not as good as the lava breathing, but it costs less. She and Yunshi can blow out hundreds of flaming thunderbolt at once. The energy of the dragon is really foul. Seeing the effect of this secret skill, Yunshi also had to admire it. With the support of Red Dragon Zaka's essence, it turned into a common skill. Thunderbolt is a forbidden skill that can be released only after the huge force of chi and blood is extracted and compressed. However, the dragon people don't even have to blink their eyelids when they use this secret skill. The combination of the dragon's terrible body talent and various forbidden skills developed by human beings is more terrifying than Yunshi imagined. At the same time, Yunshi also found that even the same hard body will show different characteristics according to the individual's physical characteristics. For example, he compresses the qi and blood of the whole body to perform the thunderbolt, which has outstanding performance on penetration and destruction. However, Red Dragon Zaka compresses the qi and blood in the same way, but what she released was Flamebolt, which looks like a ball of lava. This is because the temperature of the blood flowing in Red Dragon Zaka's body is so high that the blow made by her must be fire-typed. Yunshi's Thunderbolt has the upper hand to penetrate the opponent's defense. In the case of range attack, Red Dragon Zaka's Flameblot has an overwhelming advantage. With the same sand dune as the target, and both sides attack at the same time, Yunshi's Thunderbolt will run through the sand dune as soon as possible, and then the residual force will explode inside the sand dune. Red Dragon Zaka's Flamebolt will evaporate the entire dune world, leaving only a piece of ground burned into crystals. If the two people perform the combination skill, it will be Yunshi's Thunderbolt ripped out a big hole first, and then Red Dragon Zaka's Flamebolt blows in, causing a mushroom cloud explosion 10 times more powerful than any other secret skills. Yeah. This power should be a threat to the twin witches. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the crater with complacency. You don't know what tired is. Yunshi extinguishes the electric light twined by his fingertips. The more he cultivates with Red Dragon Zaka, the more he can feel the adversity of the dragon's racial talent. For the red steel genre people who can't even perform one thunderbolt attack, they can never imagine that a dragon can use 100 Flamebolt without feeling tired. Hundreds of large pits have been blasted out in the central area of the desert where the two people stood, and the deepest of which is more than 100 meters and the shallowest one is more than 10 meters. The continuous dune terrain was transformed into the lunar terrain by the two people. It looks like a meteor shower has fallen. Take a break and start practicing our ultimate combination skill. Red Dragon Zaka found that her synchronization rate with Yunshi was unusually high. There is almost no unfamiliar stage in the general sense, and they have a special tacit understanding when they use the combined skills. In the eyes of Red Dragon Zaka, the electric light wrapped around Yunshi's fingertips is a signal that he wants to release the power of Thunderbolt. In Yunshi's eyes, the proud look in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes is that she wants to shoot the Flamebolt. Both sides do not even need to communicate through language, and they naturally master the key to join hands. The two hearts have a connected understanding. This is probably the only way to describe the sense of synchronization between the two sides. Two people can get support from each other via the line of life. Yunshi gets a steady stream of essence from Red Dragon Zaka, which is the source of essence that can support his Thunderbolt. What Red Dragon Zaka has gained is the fighting experience and skills contained in Yunshi's Battle God Seed, the secret skills from the invincible and powerful Kasina. Under normal conditions, it is absolutely impossible for Red Dragon Zaka's essence or Yunshi's Battle God Seed to be shared. The gift left by LoveLore is just such a flower that can create miracles. The existence of this flower not only connects the two people in the physical sense but also connects the two people from the perspective of life, becoming an inseparable part of both sides. This effect was not experienced when Red Dragon Zaka reluctantly resisted Yunshi. However, after she finally opened her heart and body to Yunshi last night, it immediately showed the magic effect. Running, jumping, turning, sometimes clasping fingers, sometimes clenching hands. Everything let Red Dragon Zaka feel her strength began to grow. Even the instinct of turning into a real red dragon, which had been suppressed by the green flower, began to loosen gradually. Control, this is a problem that Red Dragon Zaka has always paid little attention to. For the Red Dragon Princess with extraordinary talent, since she can destroy the world in 5 minutes, what kind of control is needed? No matter what the enemy is, release the Crimson Dragon Roar Wave to sweep is already enough. The area covered by the dragon roar wave is her absolute home. Before meeting the twin witches, she even felt that as long as she released the dragon roar wave, she was absolutely invincible. After the battle with the twin witches, she realized for the first time that she was not without weaknesses. She was too dependent on dragon roar wave. Once the strength of dragon roar wave was restrained, she would be at a great disadvantage. The thinking loop of normal people is probably to learn from each other's strong points to make up for their own shortcomings. Red Dragon Zaka's thinking loop is, since the current dragon roar wave is not strong enough, I should cultivate a stronger dragon roar wave. Instead of thinking about what the enemy's magic is and what kind of negative effects it will bring, she only thinks about how to defeat the enemy with greater and stronger power. It's very simple, but it's very practical. Sometimes human beings just think too much and always want to defeat the strong with the weak, find out the weakness of the enemy and make use of it, so as to realize the reversal. Red Dragon Zaka doesn't think about these things. If the enemy is strong, then she must become stronger than the enemy. This is the fighting theory of Red Dragon Zaka. Yunshi is exactly what she found to be the most suitable human being to realize this theory. Because she has proved it. As long as she is with Yunshi, she will become more powerful. Yunshi has what she lacks, which can make her more powerful. Sitting on Yunshi's lap, Red Dragon Zaka smiles at the tired teenager. The sun is a little closer to the western horizon. The sunset reflected on the Red Dragon Princess's pretty face, reflecting a light luster. As bright as sunset glow, as soft as silk, the boy and the girl in the desert gaze at each other quietly, looking at the scenery reflected in the pupils. What do you want after conquering the world? Although there is no promise, no oath, but the Red Dragon Princess has begun to imagine their future. As long as two people together, there won't be opponents they can't defeat. As long as we are together, no matter where we are, it will be a happy paradise. Red Dragon Zaka even has a wonderful idea. If she doesn't think about the mission of the Great Mother, they together may make the world a better place. World peace. Yunshi sighed and said his extravagantly desire. Wow, what a strange wish. On this day, all the creatures in the desert were in a state of panic. One giant scorpion after another, which live on the edge of the desert and only climb out of their nests at night, flee from their habitat in a panic before dawn and rush towards the edge of the desert. Scorpions, large and small, fled to the desert periphery in a panic. These powerful hero-ranked demons seem to have sensed the coming of some kind of disaster, and they have gone mad. Soon after, the ground began to rumble and vibrate. Sandworms, who appeared in the field of Desert Dragon Zaka, the underground overlords who caused great trouble to the Starwings Knights, also appeared. These monsters are not different from the scorpions who love to live near the desert. A rare group of them rushed out of the desert and fled to the desert periphery. Soon after the giant scorpions and the overlord sandworms escaped, there was an army of more small and medium-sized demons. Basically, all the creatures living in the desert began to migrate. Finally, there were even figures of human desert tribes. They did not have the keen perception of the magical creatures in the desert, but when they saw the army of demons running away, everyone knew that things were wrong. It was two people in the middle of the desert who caused all this. It's all your fault. I almost overslept. Red Dragon Zaka, whose hair is still moist, has just taken a bath, and her snow-white skin is still flushed. She complains about Yunshi, who made her unable to sleep well last night. Wasn't it you who did, last night? Looking at the face of Red Dragon Zaka, Yunshi showed a helpless expression. Obviously, it was she who suddenly hugged him, and then licked him and finally made the situation out of control. It's all your fault, it's the root of human nature. Red Dragon Zaka has her hands on her hips. It is absolutely impossible for her to do that. She has no memory of that kind of thing. If I refuse to, don't remember, of course, it doesn't exist. When she came to her senses, Yunshi had already done this thing and that thing to her, which she was so ashamed to remember. Up to now, there is a taste in her mouth. The taste of Yunshi. Okay, I see. It's all my fault. At this time, Yunshi deeply felt the inequality between men and women, as well as the great difference in sensibility and rationality between the two sides. With such a red dragon princess who always loves to attack at night, he can't sleep well in the future. But he couldn't even escape. He couldn't watch Red Dragon Zaka die. Yes, it's your fault. So, come and cooperate with me. Tie up her long hair, and Red Dragon Zaka looks triumphant. It's not bad to have such a sweet morning. The ultimate skill is a move that requires us to work as one and have the most perfect cooperation. I will fully cooperate with you, and you should fully cooperate with me, just treat us as one person. Stepping on the high heels, Red Dragon Zaka tries to stand on her tiptoes, trying to stand at the same height as Yunshi. Of course, she failed. She ground her teeth and began to regret why her height was so short that even the high heels can't save her. I see. Looking at her, Yunshi's heart is melting, quietly lowering his body. Yes, that's it. Imagine. Red Dragon Zaka hits Yunshi's forehead and falls into a strange state. Yunshi can feel at that moment Red Dragon Zaka is totally open to him, without any precautions. If he wanted to, now even pull out the star wings and give her a fatal blow, she would not have any ability to fight back. What an innocent child. Yunshi sighed. For 2 days and 2 nights, he had known everything about her body. The shyness of kissing, the trembling of being touched, the smoothness of skin, and the passion of licking him. She is a proud red dragon princess, but when she opens her heart, she becomes a sweet, soft, and lovely dessert. Sometimes he would think, if Hua Hua was raised by a princess since childhood, would she be the same as Red Dragon Zaka? She loves to show off, and seems very difficult to approach, but as long as you really understand her, you will know that she is very afraid of loneliness, very want to be accompanied. Once you get her heart, you will get her everything. Imagine that we are no longer 2 people, but one. Our will can change everything. Even if we are enemies of the world, we will not be separated. Let the enemy see our strongest ultimate skill. Red Dragon Zaka, clinging to Yunshi's forehead, is full of self-confidence and full of love. Maybe only she doesn't realize this. Is this ultimate skill to use force to hit the opponent, or to make the opponent envious and jealous to psychological disorder? Yunshi, with Red Dragon Zaka's fingers clasped, suddenly had such an idea. The silver spiral began to appear in Yunshi's imagination. This time, with the full support of Red Dragon Zaka, he saw it more clearly and seriously. The first line appears. The silver-white line extends from a point, but it is not a straight line, but moves backward in a fixed track, making a uniform circular motion. So is the second, third, and fourth line that follows. With a point as the tip, the 4 spiral lines continue to accelerate, and then accelerate, finally showing an incredible aesthetic feeling. It's a structure that keeps moving forward and spinning, like the truth of the world. Then a red ball appears, which is the Dragon Roar Wave core from Red Dragon Zaka. The sacred crimson light, the Dragon Roar Wave that never appeared before, began to take shape. Yunshi never thought about what it would be like to mix 2 different Dragon Rock waves together. Red Dragon Zaka has never thought about the possibility too. In the history of the dragon race, there has never been such a mixed form of Dragon Roar Wave, because the essence of Dragon Roar Wave is the embodiment of dragon spirit. How can a giant dragon have 2 life essence? Postures. To transform the Dragon Roar Wave of 2 people into a combination skill is simply the whim of Red Dragon Zaka, which does not have any theoretical basis. Even if it was twin dragons, their dragon roar waves will definitely interfere with each other if they try to perform this. There is no coexistence in this field. But now Yunxi and Red Dragon Zaka did it. Because, for both of them, miracles really exist. The green flower, called Miracle, comes from beyond the world, and will become the highest wing. It connects Yunxi and Red Dragon Zaka's life and connects the essence of Red Dragon Zaka into Yunxi's body. Yunxi displays the holy dragon roar wave that should not be used by human beings according to the unknown dragon mark in his body. Due to the same source of life essence and the special relationship between Red Dragon Zaka and Yunxi, the holy dragon roar wave does not exclude Red Dragon Zaka's dragon roar wave, but is truly and perfectly integrated. Tick. The silver-white dot first appeared under the two people's feet, like a drop of water breaking the horizontal line. The next second, this drop of silver and white water will run through the earth, so that the desert under the two people's feet completely collapsed. Looking from the sky, the silver and white dot is so tiny that it seems that the earth under their feet suddenly disappears. This is not the collapse of gravel, but the breakdown of things at higher latitudes. Centered on the point, the fiery crimson dragon roar wave diffused at an extraordinary speed, 10 times, no, 100 times faster than the normal speed. In just 5 seconds, half of the desert area, about 1/10 of the size of the human continent, was covered and swallowed up by this crimson spiral light. The engulfed part looks like a beautiful red gem, showing a brilliant and magnificent color. One line after another, representing the string of the world, loomed in this spiral light, and dyed the land a deep red. This is, Yunxi opened his eyes wide and looked at the red ocean under his feet in amazement. The red gem is just the outline seen from the sky. What really spreads out under the feet of the two people is a real ocean. There is only one color of red, covering all things, swallowing everything, and dyeing everything with a deep red color. The sacred crimson light, the product of the double dragon roar wave, caused 1/10 of the mainland's destruction in just 5 seconds. This is only the beginning stage. The real power of the holy crimson light is probably 10 times stronger than the power. Ha ha ha. Sure enough, that's right, we can definitely win the twin witches with this ultimate skill. Red Dragon Zaka holds Yunxi's hand tightly and looks triumphantly at the red ocean under her feet. It has the defiance defense of Holy Dragon Roar Wave and the increasing effect of Crimson Dragon Roar Wave at the same time. It's incredible that even though she's still in human posture, the total amount of essence is far less than the dragon's real posture, but she can use Dragon Roar Wave more than 10 times stronger than when she is in the real posture. Sure enough, this is fate. As long as she is with him, no one is a match for them. Even the strongest of the 4 Zaka sisters, Black Dragon Zaka, did not have this terrible power. Moreover, after completing this combination skill together, Red Dragon Zaka can feel that the strength that has been holding her back is disappearing. Well, we're going to find the twin witches. Feeling the sudden heat flow in her body, Red Dragon Zaka can't wait to revenge the twin witches. Come on, get ready to ride me. Raising her proud head, Red Dragon Zaka looks confidently at Yunxi. You are the only human who can dance with Red Dragon Princess in the sky. Why, are you? Yunxi looks at Red Dragon Zaka and felt her louder and louder heartbeat. Yes, I'm back. Red Dragon Zaka grabs Yunxi's body and jumps into the sky. The countless red spirits on the ground flowing to the sky, rise towards the body of Red Dragon Zaka, and begin to construct the outline of a huge object. Once again, the dragon dancing in the sky. It is about 30 meters tall with gemstone-like scales and sharp dragon horns. The streamlined body gives people a sense of artistry. The vertical pupil burns endless flames. Red Dragon Zaka's true body. Yunxi sits in the middle of her wings and deploys a flame shield that can block out foreign attacks. If this appearance appears in the Western God's domain, he will surely be regarded as a Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight is one of the top ranks recognized by God's domains in the West. It is the lifelong dream of all Dragon Knights to have a giant dragon as powerful, beautiful, and elegant as Red Dragon Zaka. Most of the Dragon Knights can only find a ground dragon or a bipedal flying dragon as their mount during their whole life. He who can have a male fire dragon as a mount can boast for a lifetime. Even the inferior subspecies, such as pterodactyl, is not easy to acknowledge allegiance to human beings. In order to get a dragon mount, even a hero-ranked Dragon Knight has to take care of the baby pterodactyl more carefully than taking care of his own children. As for the real dragon, the possibility of becoming a Dragon Knight's mount is almost zero. Basically, it will only appear in the dream of these Dragon Knights. In terms of the number of registered Dragon Knights, about every 100 years, there will be a lucky person who will be recognized by the dragon for some reason. How tall? How far away? Yunshi sat on the back of Red Dragon Zaka, looking at the earth under his feet, deeply felt the so-called high above everything. It's really too high. It's tens of thousands of meters away from the ground. From this point of view, the outline of the land can be clearly seen. The desert area alone accounts for about a third of the continent, while the snow-covered ice sheet area seems to be larger. These are harsh areas not suitable for human habitation, and there are not many traces of civilization. Only in the area with a large number of oases on the edge of the desert, Yunshi vaguely saw some dome tents. On the contrary, the east of the last human kingdom presents a delta terrain with dense rivers, while the south has many forests. The two parts together constitute the territory of the ancient kingdom of Assyria, the only prosperous civilization in the world. And all this, in the eyes of the dragon flying in the sky, are insignificant. The dragon race, a race born with the power of the world, is the ultimate creature at the top of the pyramid of all food chains. They are born with huge magic power and impregnable body. A giant dragon alone has the power to conquer a continent. If it wasn't for Yunshi and his Star Wings Knights, maybe Desert Dragon Zaka had completed the mission of conquering the world. Looking down on the earth from tens of thousands of meters above, human beings are not even larger than ants. It is no wonder that dragon people do not communicate with human beings, just as human beings do not specially observe the ecology, society, and civilization of ants. In essence, the dragon race is a super creature above human beings. Well, it's interesting. The world, for us, is too small. Red Dragon Zaka makes a loud noise. It's the real sound of the dragon. Mortals will lose consciousness and faint when they even hear it at close range. Well, it's a little small indeed. Yunshi estimated that the area covered by the sacred crimson light created by them, and found half of the desert has been dyed red. In the ocean of red crimson light, all living things are swallowed up, and then assimilated by Red Dragon Zaka's dragon roar wave and become a part of her dragon roar wave. It was only when she absorbed such a huge amount of energy that she released her bondage and regained the power to restore the dragon's posture. Of course, it's also because her relationship with Yunshi is developing rapidly, but Yunshi doesn't know it. Come on, fly with me. Red Dragon Zaka, with Yunshi in the sky, makes a vicious turn and starts a difficult aerial maneuver. She did not forget how she was tossed by Yunshi last night. Now they are in the air, and she dominates the high-altitude field. How can she not return the treatment 10 times to him? Boom! 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 First of all, a series of rolling let Yunshi have a good experience of what is a drum washing machine and what is an infinite 360-degree loop. Ha ha! She makes a sharp whistling sound and dives from a height of 10,000 meters to only a few meters away from the ground. Yunshi can smell the smell of sand. And then she's up and up again, and that's what Red Dragon Zaka is good at. Several sandworms, who had hardly reached the edge of the desert and stretched out their heads to breathe freely, were so frightened by Red Dragon Zaka that they had a cardiac spasm. Their bile vomited out and were half dead. A large number of giant scorpions are foaming one by one at the mouth. There's no way. The power of the dragon is really killing. Well, cough. Zaka, it's too fast. Yunshi, who has never ridden a dragon in his life, thought that all the dragon knights had to have a full point of anti-dizziness ability. He didn't realize that this was pure revenge of Red Dragon Zaka. Yes, that's it. It's a revenge for you to do such a shameful thing to me last night. The princess revenge will never wait for tomorrow. No, it's not full speed yet. Red Dragon Zaka felt for the first time that flying was so happy and comfortable. Sure enough, abusing Rookie is the happiest thing. Before this guy has adapted to the flying mode of the dragon, he must be well abused. Well, that's the way of her love. She can't beat Yunshi, and at least she can make trouble with him, day or night. Red Dragon Zaka, flying faster and higher. As a result, the desert demons who managed to escape the sacred crimson light ushered in a nightmare-like day. Hiss-haw. Together, these creatures with keen intuition and powerful strength hold their heads one by one, drill into the ground and shiver under the pressure of the dragon. Yunshi, riding on Red Dragon Zaka's body, turns from the roller washing machine over and over again, and then experiences what a real freefall is. Several times, he saw that the ground was so close that he seemed to be able to reach out and grab a handful of sand. As for those desert scorpions foaming at their mouths, he automatically ignored them. Ah ha 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 ha. Red Dragon Zaka grabs a sandworm that seems to be struggling with its own claws. The sandworm, which is hundreds of meters long and has the power to move mountains, is no different from an earthworm in Red Dragon Zaka's claws, and instantly falls into a dead state. After a flash, a yellow gem appeared in Red Dragon Zaka's claws, which was thrown behind her and fell into Yunshi's palm. The magic color stone of the Millennium Sandworm can be made into beautiful jewels. It's my sister Desert Dragon Zaka's favorite decoration. There are many of them in my nest. Unfortunately, my sister will not come back. Flying in the sky, Red Dragon Zaka is a little bit sad, telling the story of her past. She, perhaps, will come back. Yunshi's expression is strange. Does Desert Dragon Zaka like gems? Well, it seems that it's true. When she and Ice Dragon Zaka are free, they both like to go to the treasure house of the royal city to have a big sleep. Both of them don't wear clothes and so their skin close to all kinds of gems. Desert Dragon Zaka likes warm yellow gems, while Ice Dragon Zaka prefers cold blue gems. If it's Red Dragon Zaka, there's no doubt that she likes bright red ruby. Forward. Red Dragon Zaka makes a joyful sound, carrying Yunshi to the south of this continent. With Red Dragon Zaka as his mount, Yunshi easily broke through countless mountains, rivers, and swamps, and soon went from the deserted desert to the forest area full of lush forests. This is the territory of those damned twin witches. Well, do you want me to blow them out and have a big fight? Red Dragon Zaka is eager to try. With the most powerful combination skill, the Holy Crimson Light as the trump card, now Red Dragon Zaka is even daring to fight heaven. Oh wait, I want to get your heart back from the twin witches. Yunshi shook his head. Of course, there is more than one reason, but he is sure that the heart of Red Dragon Zaka is still in the hands of the twin witches, so it is not a lie. Well, under Yunshi, Red Dragon Zaka's eyes flashed shyness. He is worrying about me. The giant dragon's huge body turns into a red flame, and falls rapidly from an altitude of 10,000 meters to a mountain peak. Red Dragon Zaka changes back to her human posture. Her high-heeled shoes are stepping on the ice and snow on the top of the mountain. They look at the vast southern land together. Different from the last country of mankind, the south is full of forests and swamps, showing a typical tropical climate. The civilization level of human beings living here is far lower than that of the kingdom, which still retains the state system. It is a loose alliance system dominated by tribes. The only ones who can give orders to all the tribal chiefs are the witches, who are said to have the blood of the ancient kingdom of Assyria, and this generation of witches is undoubtedly the strongest one in all generations. They are even more powerful than Red Dragon Zaka. There, it should be the palace of the witches. Red Dragon Zaka refers to a tower in the middle of the southern forest region. It is the most conspicuous human building in the whole southern forest world, with an incredible height of 300 meters. Even in the heyday of the Assyria kingdom, it was a miracle-like huge building. After the collapse of the Assyria dynasty, the descendants of a royal family retreated to the tower, which was originally just the border area of the dynasty. On this basis, the ancient civilization of Assyria was preserved, and a unique witch system was formed. The Witch's Palace is the last pillar of the southern civilization and the holy land of those tribes. The holy witches are the spiritual totems on this barren land, and they are known as the leaders of the children of God. These are all the materials Yunshi read from the library of the palace, but there are very few connections between witches and the last kingdom of mankind. This is also a very natural thing. After the collapse of the Assyria dynasty, there was a huge gap in civilization. There was no direct connection between the last state of human protection and the territory of the southern witches. At a time when the number of human beings is greatly reduced, countless mountains, rivers, swamps and demons inhabiting the land between the two human settlements have completely blocked the communication between the kingdom and the tribal areas. Except for a few hero-ranked strong people, no team can pass through these areas. On the contrary, the tribes living in the desert have contacts with the Guardian Kingdom. As for the northern ice sheet area, even in the heyday of the Assyria dynasty, it was a rarely visited place, and there was no trace of human civilization. Just like the forgotten ruins, human beings in this continent have long declined. Without witches and kings, it's probably the fire of civilization would have been extinguished. Do the twin witches live in that tower? Yunshi looked at the 300-meter-high spire, feeling an unusual smell from it. It is a taste that seems to be out of place with the world, just like the only torch in the dark and ignorant world. Strange, is that tower getting higher again? Red Dragon Zaka is staring at the witch's tower. When she attacked it 3 days ago, it was not that high. This tower, Yunshi has a similar feeling. The more he looks at the tower, the more familiar he feels. It seems that it is not the first time he has seen such a high spire. This kind of ethereal, sacred building with some ancient and vicissitudes is not the style of White Lotus Sword domain at all, but more like the masterpiece of the gods' domains in the West. In particular, the sword shape tearing the sky and the sharp outline emerging in the dark give Yunshi a very familiar flavor. The color is different too. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the tower that had changed in 3 days. When she came last time, the tower was white. How now the sacred white tower has become black. The black tower, ah. Yunshi remembered that he had actually seen this shaped tower. However, the tower in his memory was dilapidated, and even the top of the tower was torn by some force, so he didn't recognize it for the first time. In the trial world, the Dark Tower of Fire. The tower that lights the fire of hope and the last light of hope in the dark world. White Lotus bound to the cross. Red Lotus incarnated to be a flame giant to protect White Lotus. It was the most tragic trial he had ever experienced, and it was also the trial with the most deaths. Do they remember the thing happened there? I have a bad feeling. Red Dragon Zaka looked around and found that all the breath of life became weak after entering the range of the tower. There is no taste of human. 3 days ago, there were still many mortals, but now they all disappeared without a trace. Only the tall tower, standing on the southern land, seems to be waiting for something. There was no sound of birds. There was no animal running. Even the sound of fish swimming in the water disappeared. Between heaven and earth, only silence remains. Me too. From just now on, Yunshi felt that the lifeline connecting with Red Dragon Zaka was constantly releasing some dangerous breath. Far away in the middle of the continent, in the nest of the original dragon. With a flash of green light, the last egg that had not hatched was forcibly cut by the green light blade on the head of the original dragon. Paw! Endless black comes from the broken eggs. As if it's connecting to an endless abyss, the last black eggs hatched out, full of the sense of despair and madness. These black materials, in turn, even enveloped the sleeping original dragon, and then dyed the green original dragon black. Hiss! The original dragon that has been falling into sleep for too long slowly opened her eyes. It was a pair of black eyes full of nothingness. There was no other color in the vertical pupil, just dark. Boom! With the awakening of the original dragon, the whole nest began to collapse, and countless chains began to break one by one. The forgotten ruins surrounding the original dragon was like dominoes that had been pushed down, completely smashed. I'm black. It seems that it's not used to the body. The black dragon raises its claws and falls heavily. Endless black leaked from the position of the dragon's claw and began to penetrate into the earth, lakes and rivers. Forests, human beings and animals are all engulfed by this irresistible black matter, and the whole world begins to fall into eternal darkness. That's power of the last awakening Zaka, the power of Black Dragon Zaka. Compared with the Crimson Dragon Roar Wave, this black material has more terrifying and frightening characteristics. It's the power to invade the world and then devour it. Even the gods it can eat. It's the greatest disaster. Black Dragon Zaka is such an ominous thing. It was hatched by the original dragon only after all the first 3 Zaka failed. It's like a Pandora's box that can't be opened. Darkness is coming, the end of the world is coming. In the Witch Tower, White Lotus looks at the waves spreading in the middle of the distant continent and holds her sister's hand. Ready, sister? I can't help it. Try it. Red Lotus closes her eyes and sings with White Lotus. I wander in the dark. I once dreamed that in the whispering voice that no one heard. Now, I finally see the way ahead. At least at this moment, let me open my arms for you. Unfulfilled wishes, trampled wings, bow their heads in the dark, just waiting for your arrival. The shadow of tears, the shadow of the moon, overflows my palm, and my lips tremble in the dark. Come and find me, look at me, treat me as the first princess in the world, my prince. I don't regret falling in love with you, even if I'm covered with scars. As long as you are by my side and share the time with me, darkness and sadness can also become warm. Whirling thoughts cast the ring of stars and moon for you and witness our eternal love. Our love will turn into light, light up the darkness and become immortal. The sun, the moon, and the stars never part. White brilliance, it is the symbol of the girl's innocence. Red brilliance, it is the symbol of girl's enthusiasm. Red and white brilliance. That is to light the torch of the last hope in the dark. In the endless darkness, this tower standing in the south has become the last stronghold of the fire of civilization, and also the tower of hope cast by the twin witches to save the world. As the stars fall, the tower absorbs all the last hopes of the world but also attracts the eyes of the doomsday dragon who has devoured almost the whole world. Prince, come to the tower. Prepare to fight with us against all the darkness of the world. The voices of White Lotus and Red Lotus appear in Yunshi's ears together, calling the last person to link the first fire in the world. Only he can be the last hope of the world against the awakening doomsday dragon. Yeah, is this the power of my sister? Red Dragon Zaka looks at the wave of darkness sweeping towards her at a loss. She clearly felt the breath of Zaka in it, but it was a breath that she was totally unfamiliar with and could not understand. It's totally different from her sisters, Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka, and her own. What's the matter with this ferocious dark breath? Is the youngest sister, Black Dragon Zaka, born? But why is Black Dragon Zaka so hostile to her? It's clear that she and her sister are in the same camp. She's still alive. Let's go. Yunshi takes Red Dragon Zaka, who doesn't know what happened, and takes the lead to rush into the witch's tower. Boom! The black wave has covered the whole world, is heavy bombarding on the tower, so that the tower of hundreds of meters high is shaking violently, as if the next second it will collapse. The black dragon's claw, accompanied by endless black waves, is an unimaginable claw. The tower of hundreds of meters tall is like a child's toy in front of her. The black doomsday dragon has been born, its body is the world, its eyes are the eyes of the world, it has devoured almost all parts of the world, only the last witch tower is still resisting the invasion of darkness. It was like a candle that seemed to go out at any time in the endless darkness. In the endless wave of darkness, the huge objects that can't be witnessed with human eyes surround the tower, and then release more dark substances, which rush towards the last hope of mankind. Red and white light interlaced, absorbed all these dark substances into the tower. The last battle of the world has begun. Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka rushed into the tower, and surprised to find that the tower is not the scenery they saw outside at all. Pansy, forget-me-not, rubia, clover, it is the tower, but it seems to contain all the flowers of the garden. All kinds of flowers are blooming in this garden. The 4 seasons of spring, summer, autumn and winter do not seem to exist in this garden at all. To the top. This is the voice of White Lotus. If you don't come, you'll die. This is the voice of Red Lotus. The next second, countless sand fell, and the black sand gave Yunshi the same feeling as the dark waves outside, forming the outline of a huge monster. Sandy brown scales, for trichomas floating around, and that kind of wild and aggressive momentum. Sister. Red Dragon Zaka was surprised to see the dragon wrapped in the dark. There is no doubt that this is the eldest sister of the 4 Zaka sisters, Desert Dragon Zaka. However, when Yunshi looks at the murderous Desert Dragon Zaka, cold sweat covered his forehead. No, something's not right. This was not the Desert Dragon Zaka he knew, this was not the 3rd royal consort he had welcomed into marriage. Again, definitely not the Zaka that Red Dragon Zaka knew, the one who cared for her sister and even doted on her. Wrapped in dark matter, Desert Dragon Zaka emitted a surprisingly murderous aura throughout her body, and aimed directly at Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Targeting, locking, Desert Dragon Zaka shook her massive dragon head somewhat uncomfortably, and with a flash of green light, locked onto Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka's body. Both Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, who were locked by the green light, had black lines appear on their heads, like some sort of curse. Death to all betrayers, darkness, Zaka. After letting out an earth-shattering dragon roar to the sky, the eyes of the Desert Dragon Zaka that was entangled in the dark matter were only filled with wild killing intent. Her 4 dragon claws stomped on the earth, and all the sand eyes were all suspended vertically, exactly the war mode that unfolded during the first city attack from Desert Dragon Zaka. Sister, calm down, what's wrong with you? Seeing her sister Desert Dragon Zaka, who was supposed to be dead, again, Red Dragon Zaka was actually very happy. Just why would my sister see me as an enemy and go into war mode without even communicating? Be careful, that's not the sister you're familiar with anymore. Yunshi knew everything from her toes to the arc of her chest. Yunshi realized that Desert Dragon Zaka was unusual at the moment. That desert dragon Zaka he knows had never been so ferocious and violent. What happened next also verified Yunshi's intuition. Desert dragon Zaka simply ignored red dragon Zaka's shout and unleashed her desert field directly. The garden beneath her feet was covered in a searing storm of hot sand as one giant venomous scorpion after another burrowed out of the desert field, and all covered in black, going into the crazy mode as desert dragon Zaka. These giant venomous scorpions all raised their tails and then shot their venom towards Yunshi and red dragon Zaka. Ha! It was Yunshi who was the first to respond compared to the overwhelmed red dragon Zaka. A crimson shield was deployed. It was a shield of flame with a temperature of tens of thousands of degrees, a shield of lava. The green venom blasted against the lava shield with a snort sound, and was then vaporized into green poisonous smoke. Pay attention to the underground. Yunshi grabbed red dragon Zaka's small hand and quickly jumped up. Rumble. The ground caved in violently, and the 100-meter-long sandworm burrowed out of the ground, biting down on where Yunshi and red dragon Zaka had once been a second before. Layers of jagged teeth cutting continuously and making a chilling chewing sound. Why is my sister out of control? Red dragon Zaka's body trembled as she felt desert dragon Zaka's undisguised murderous aura. Her memories of her eldest sister desert dragon Zaka had always been cheerful, generous, and with a free-spirited wildness, fulfilling the mission of conquering the world step by step. And she has found the perfect love of her own. She is a total winner in the eyes of the still young red dragon Zaka. How did such a sister become what she is now? The dark substance wrapped around her body, what is it? We can talk about it later. Yunshi had a very bad feeling as he looked at the darkness that was wrapped around the giant poisonous scorpion, the sandworm, and desert dragon Zaka. Does it seem that this is coming to an end? The darkness dominated by desert dragon Zaka defies common sense. Yes, that's the only way to do it. After sobering up, red dragon Zaka chose to believe Yunshi. The only way to understand what really happened is to defeat her sister. Begin synchronization. Yunshi took red dragon Zaka's hand as the spirit began to immerse itself into that silent world. Synchronization begins. Red dragon Zaka's ruby-like eyes began to become as calm and unmoving as if they were sunken underwater. Two people, from now on, are one. Holding hands, the world the two see is their stage. Ha. Seeing how close Yunshi and red dragon Zaka were, desert dragon Zaka, who was already covered in dark matter, was at full rage. For sand eyes, shooting out dark red rays almost at the same time, aimed at the pair holding hands in mid-air. Synchronization complete. Yunshi held up his right hand and extended two fingers. Synchronization complete. Red dragon Zaka similarly raised her right hand and held out two fingers. The power of the whole body's chi and blood compressed. Thunderburst. Inferno. Flashes of lightning, as well as searing fire, intersected and instantly blasted desert dragon Zaka's massive head. Boom. Desert dragon Zaka's huge body was blasted back tens of meters, and that wasn't the end of it. Kick. The two who had flipped in the air to avoid sand eyes, simultaneously executed a downward kick that landed solidly on desert dragon Zaka's dragon head, where it had just been blown up. Ow wow wow. Desert dragon Zaka let out a roar and shook her head hard, knocking the pair of damn enemies out of the way. However, while hitting Yunshi and red dragon Zaka, the ring of dark red lava shield suddenly exploded. Sorry, sister. Red dragon Zaka seized the moment and built up strength with Yunshi. Crimson dragon claws slapped hard on desert dragon Zaka's head. Why the head again? Desert dragon Zaka woefully shielded her head with her claws. Yunshi, on the other hand, caught the opportunity and used his charging skill, soft water palm. The dragon's claws are unstoppable, solid. And the soft water palm is indefensible, soft. Desert Dragon Zaka blocked Red Dragon Zaka's violent dragon claws, but failed to block Yunshi's soft water palm's penetration attack. Once again, Desert Dragon Zaka's head suffered a heavy blow. Gah, oh, let out a sad sound. Desert Dragon Zaka got her head thrashed once again. Only, the attack had cleared her consciousness a little and dispelled much of the darkness that had been covering her body. Ha! The Desert Dragon Zaka, who had suffered consecutive blows to the head, looked around with confused eyes and gave a silly look of, who am I, where is this, what am I doing? Sister. Red Dragon Zaka looked at the confused Desert Dragon Zaka with delight. Ahoy! Desert Dragon Zaka shook her head, 3 different memories warring in her consciousness. In the first memory, she was a child of the great original dragon, Desert Dragon Zaka, who was on a plan to conquer the world and was just a step away from conquering the world. Well, that last little step is a breeze once she finds her lover, Shaheen, and joins forces with him after she marries him. This memory is very real, it shouldn't be fake. In the second memory, she was the king of the Western Desert, the lone and beautiful Desert Dragon Zaka, who accidentally fell in love with the prince of the human kingdom and married him. The skin-to-skin on the wedding night, the luxury of bathing in precious stones, all kinds of hot and sweet memories. Even the temperature of his fingers was so vivid, there was no way this memory could be wrong. The last memory is of a deep, bottomless darkness, and a throbbing from the depths of her blood that enraged her and made her go berserk, eventually transforming into the Black Desert Dragon Zaka. Again, this memory is not false, it is an instinct from the dragon's bloodline. So, here's the question, how can 3 memories contradict each other when they're all true? Which one of her memories was wrong, anyway? Sister, come to your senses. Red Dragon Zaka shouted loudly. Sister, is this child my sister? The scent of fire, the exact same face as her own, she should be third sister, the red one. The first memory had her in it, she was her sister. But why, when she looked at her and Yunshi holding hands, closer than anyone else, she was so angry as if her most precious thing had been taken away? The memory of my sister belongs to the first memory. The memory of being sweet with the prince belongs to the second memory. This uncontrollable rage belongs to the third memory. Totally confused. What are you, to me? Desert Dragon Zaka clutched her head and stared angrily at Yunshi. I am yours. Yunshi showed a somewhat guilty expression, but before he could finish his sentence, Desert Dragon Zaka's body was already covered with the dark matter once again and went into a raging rampage mode. You deserve to die. No good, sister is out of control again. Red Dragon Zaka exclaimed as she looked at Desert Dragon Zaka, who raised her dragon claws, while not forgetting to give her sister a wake-up dragon claw hit. Desert Dragon Zaka, whose head had been slapped once again, opened her large mouth and violently ejected black dragon breath with the scent of death. That was definitely not Desert Dragon Zaka's own dragon breath. Hers was a spurt similar to a hot sandstorm, whereas this was a black corrosive substance. The gravel that was stained by this dark substance turned a horrible black. This power, could it be? Red Dragon Zaka was reluctant to accept the result, but she couldn't find any other explanation than that one. With such a powerful, even Zaka can't resist. Yunshi, who was now almost psychically connected to Red Dragon Zaka, made the same judgment. The strongest dragon. With a bitter voice, Red Dragon Zaka spoke the name of the culprit that was wrapped around Desert Dragon Zaka's body at this moment. The fourth Zaka, Black Dragon Zaka. Yunshi once again feels the terror of the 4 Zaka sisters, and the appearance of the 4th dragon, Black Dragon Zaka, announces the fall of the world straight away. Even her sister, Desert Dragon Zaka, was dominated and sent out to hunt him and Red Dragon Zaka. I don't believe it, my sister can't be that heartless. There was a hazy mist in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes. Of the 4 Zaka sisters, the youngest sister Black Dragon Zaka is the most silent and wordless, almost never making a sound in the 4 Zaka sisters' interactions. Compared to Desert Dragon Zaka, the nagging older sister, Ice Dragon Zaka, the slightly meaner second sister, and Red Dragon Zaka, who loves to listen to her sister's stories and fantasize about how she will fight alongside her sisters when she hatches, Black Dragon Zaka is always the quiet one. Black Dragon Zaka is always the quietest listener. The sister she remembered was supposed to be the quietest Zaka. This sister who doesn't even hesitate to dominate her sister is not the Black Dragon Zaka she knows. It's true, she doesn't look like a Zaka. The Zakas Yun she know are very straightforward and innocent girls, with a subtle sense of similarity to his childhood sweetheart in different ways. Black Dragon Zaka, why is it with such a frightening impression? Of the 4 Zaka sisters, she gave Yunshi the impression of being the most restless, like some unnameable thing that could never be seen in the dark waters. That sense of unknown mystery and danger gave him an unknowable sense. Her killing intent gave Yunshi the creepy feeling of someone finding out what he had done. Target, annihilation, the man who betrayed the Great Mother, the man who failed the Great Mother, his only destiny, is to go to hell. It was not the voice of Desert Dragon Zaka, but indeed the murmuring voice from the darkness, the final death declaration from Black Dragon Zaka. I didn't betray the Great Mother. Red Dragon Zaka was completely unable to understand why she had been judged to have betrayed the original giant dragon. She had been working to conquer the world, and now she was also ready to come and destroy the last blocking rock, the twin witches who had taken her heart. Her devotion to the Great Mother never changed. Holding Yunshi's hand tightly, it was the only way to give Red Dragon Zaka a touch of warmth now. Considered an enemy by her own sister Black Dragon Zaka, she was on the verge of not knowing what to do. She hadn't done anything to betray her mother. Betrayer, Black Dragon Zaka's voice became colder for some reason. Large drops of sweat fell from Yunshi's forehead. The reason for betraying the original giant dragon, should this be told to her? Roar! More darkness filled Desert Dragon Zaka's body, and her golden pupils all turned pitch black. Enemy. The enemy. It seems to be more than just orders from Black Dragon Zaka, mixed with something else. Watch out, it's coming. Yunshi took Red Dragon Zaka's hand and quickly backed away. Desert Dragon Zaka slapped her claws down, and the ground instantly turned into a giant black swirl of quicksand. The battle started once again. At this moment, Desert Dragon Zaka was no longer the third princess that Yunshi remembered, nor was she the big sister Desert Dragon Zaka that Red Dragon Zaka remembered. Dominated by the power of Black Dragon Zaka, she spared no effort in hunting down the pair of Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Boom! 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 Hundreds of lines of venom across the sky, continuously blasting the lava shield protecting the two. Green toxic smoke filled the air, so that the flowers withered and died one by one. The sandworms, one after another, rose up from the sand, launched suicide attacks on Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, who kept jumping into the air. When she is angry, her temper is far more than her sister Desert Dragon Zaka. Moreover, at this moment, she is not alone in the battle. Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka raised their hands together and pointed their index fingers to the sky, unleashing a fire-based forbidden spell. It was a forbidden spell that was even more powerful than Ice Dragon Zaka's meteorite fire rain. A huge fire cloud covered the sky, countless golden red bubbles emerged in the cloud, and then the doomsday fire rain descended. Pulp bubbles, even the smallest was more than a meter in diameter, fell on the desert, splashing away one after another. The giant venomous scorpions touched by these pulp bubbles will instantly turn into ashes, leaving only a faint scorch mark. Even if a sandworm with a body length of 100 meters is contaminated with these high-temperature slurry streams, its huge body will be burnt instantly like a caterpillar being roasted by fire. Bzzz. 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 Sandworms constantly rolled up madly, all were cooked, burnt, and finally turned into black charcoal. And this is only the prelude stage of this forbidden spell. These high-temperature bubbles are only used as a means of clearing the field, the real attack has not yet begun. Continuously tossed in the fire cloud, began to brew a number of huge things. Those are fire elements more than 1,000 meters in diameter, which can be regarded as formed by 1,000,000 high-temperature pulp bubbles. It's the meteorite in the meteorite fire rain, or can be called flaming meteor. The strongest human Grand Magus can only summon one shot, but in this fiery cloud, there are more than 7 flaming meteors with a diameter of more than 1,000 meters. The Star of the Sand, facing the meteor bombardment that was about to descend, Desert Dragon Zaka also brought out her trump card, the Star of the Sand. Unlike the Star of the Sand that Yunshi remembered, this god weapon, which could summon a solid star, was also tainted with black, giving off an ominous aura. The first flaming meteor with a diameter of over 1,000 meters fell from the sky, carrying crimson flames like a comet that swept through the sky. Boom! In the huge mushroom cloud, countless crimson flames shot up into the sky, forming a huge pillar of fire between heaven and earth. The black Star of the Sand, with a trajectory that defied the rules of gravity, advanced toward the sky. Second shot. Without hesitation, Red Dragon Zaka drove the second flaming meteor and it smashed down hard. The second pillar of fire was born between heaven and earth, and the land completely turned into a dead land of desert and flame. Hundreds of giant poisonous scorpions and an unknown number of sandworms were all turned into dust in this battle. Their death breath was all swallowed by the black quicksand vortex on the ground, and a kind of palpitating breath was slowly coalescing out. The desert dragon Zaka, who had her feet in the desert, continued to absorb the death breath from the dead creatures and became stronger and stronger. Third shot. Between heaven and earth, another flaming meteor exploded. This time, it finally blew open a large gaping hole in the black Star of the Sand. The longer the meteorite fire rain is prepared, the more fire elements between heaven and earth will be absorbed, and the stronger the flaming meteor's destructive power will be. The power of this forbidden spell is precisely reflected in the number of flaming meteors that are coalesced. Red Dragon Zaka's meteorite fire rain is a 7-star forbidden spell. The 7 flaming meteors have the power to turn all ground that can be seen into a scorching inferno, and the dust raised is enough to cover the sky. However, in the face of the forbidden spell, Desert Dragon Zaka's Star of the Sand did not retreat in the slightest but continued to rise towards the sky. The central area of the black Star of the Sand, which had been blown up once more, began to be exposed to Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. The 5th shot. Red Dragon Zaka did not stop and blasted out the 5th flaming meteor that had already reached its critical point. The black substance, which was located in the core part of the Star of the Sand, was also completely exposed to Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Go! Without waiting for Red Dragon Zaka to drive the 6th and 7th flaming meteors, Yunshi held Red Dragon Zaka and fell towards the ground as fast as he could. Why, I can definitely blow up it. Red Dragon Zaka knocked Yunshi's ear in dissatisfaction, completely unable to understand his action. Yunshi didn't have time to explain, but opened his lava shield once again. Compared to Red Dragon Zaka's reckless attack, when the two of them were working together, he was better at completing her deficiencies, completing support and defense. As it turns out, Yunshi made the right choice. After being blown to only half of its initial size, the black star of the sand, which revealed the structure of the dark matter inside, instantly accelerated and flew to the interior of the fire cloud. In the next second, endless waves of black light began to spread, and black matter full of malicious intent gushed out of the star of the sand's interior as if it had opened a hole to another world. Red Dragon Zaka's 6th and 7th flaming meteors were almost instantly swallowed by the black matter, contaminated, and then collapsed, and all the fire clouds around them were absorbed by the black star of the sand. How is it possible that Sister Star of the Sand doesn't have that kind of ability at all? Red Dragon Zaka looked in shock at the black star that swallowed her forbidden spell meteorite fire rain. This was never the ability her sister she knew possessed. It's Black Dragon Zaka's ability. Yunshi also did not know the principle of this, only to increase the danger of Black Dragon Zaka by another level. Deep, location, like something that can never be peered into the depths of darkness. Devouring everything, dominating everything, like the deepest incarnation of terror. The strongest Zaka. How can we win in this situation? Red Dragon Zaka gritted her teeth as she looked at the dangerous black star in the air. After devouring her forbidden spell meteorite fire rain, the black star's shell took on a hot, dark red color and had clearly become more powerful. The evidence of this was that there were black pulp bubbles starting to form in the sky, and black clouds were constantly tumbling, almost exactly like the meteorite fire rain not long ago. There was even a black thread connecting heaven and earth, which was evidence that this heaven and earth were about to be invaded by the power of darkness. The entire world emanated a full of malice towards Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. Fight through. Yunshi could not resolve the nature of the black thread either. It was not something he was good at in the first place. Black Dragon Zaka's power was beyond his imagination. She was probably the most ferocious opponent he had encountered since coming to this world. Her power alone surpassed the sum of her 3 sisters, and it was almost as if the world was doomed to be ended. The Dragon of Doom, Black Dragon Zaka, is perhaps the aptest name for her. There is no retreat. There is no escape. Then, let's fight. Yunshi stopped to think about anything else. Since the other side has forced him into such a desperate situation, then the rest is as simple as it can be. Ah, just what I want. Good, no matter who the opponent is, we will win. A burning spark shone out of Red Dragon Zaka's eyes, and the gaze that she looked at Yunshi became even more passionate. As long as we are together, we can defeat any opponent. We don't need to ask who the enemy is, we just need to win all the way. Even if the opponents are my sisters. Roar! As if feeling the inseparable connection between Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, the fierce and violent aura on Desert Dragon Zaka rose higher and higher. It seems that this couple has completely angered the master of the desert. The 4 sand eyes, in unison, turned deep black, as if heralding the coming of calamity. Soon after, the black sandstorm arrived. This is not just a storm of sand and gravel, but also mixed with the black matter that constantly falls from the sky. It looks like the entire garden is filled with this distorted power, not giving even a hint of survival to Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka. The Desert Dragon Zaka is so crazy. As long as we hold hands, Red Dragon Zaka took a deep breath. Then we can conquer everything, Yunshi smiled, matching Red Dragon Zaka pointing at Desert Dragon Zaka's huge head in the darkness. Thunder Blast. Inferno Blast. Lightning jumped on his fingertips, pointing the way to hope for Yunshi. The fiery firelight flies, opening the waymarker for Red Dragon Zaka to gain victory. The lightning and fire, transformed into sharp blades that tore through everything, broke through the endless darkness and blasted Desert Dragon Zaka's dragon head with unerring accuracy. Gah! Desert Dragon Zaka, whose defense had been greatly increased, was not repulsed this time, and even took the initiative to create a barrier of darkness in front of herself to block the extremely lethal flame light. However, the real attack was not an inflammation blast, nor a thunder blast, but the two who came sprinting after locking onto their target. 1,000 strikes in one instant. Yunshi unleashed the power of the battle god seed, bringing the indestructible nature of the hard body to its fullest. The dragon claw tear apart everything. Although there is no such thing as the hard body, the dragon's body itself is strong enough. When swinging the dragon claws, it is even more powerful. It's not a forbidden spell, nor a martial arts skill, but simply a synchronized attack that brings out the best in both of their physical abilities. As if sensing something, Desert Dragon Zaka stamped her 4 claws on the ground and summoned back all the sand eyes that were spread out in 4 directions. But it was too late. Bang! 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 Yunshi's fists bombarded Desert Dragon Zaka's head like a fierce storm, smashing her head with all his strength. Hiss! 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 Red Dragon Zaka's red dragon claws kept flashing from left to right and then right to left again, tearing a crack in her sister's head. Combo, combo, and combo again. If it was Yunshi or Red Dragon Zaka alone, more or less there would be a slight pause among the attacks, but after the two join forces, there is no longer a weakness. Even with Red Dragon Zaka's Dragon Claw attacks assistance, Yunshi can also switch between the hard body and the soft body in the process of attacking, from time to time cast his soft water palm, striking Desert Dragon Zaka's head that has long been injured 1,000 times. Under the triple blows of Steel Fist, Soft Water Palm, and Dragon Claw, Desert Dragon Zaka finally collapsed, spitting out her tongue and announcing her defeat with dizziness in her eyes. The 4 sand eyes hovering around her also kept spinning and fell to the ground, just like their master. The black star suspended in the sky recovered all the black breath and flew quickly to the higher realm. Gah, my head is going to break. Desert Dragon Zaka was lying in the sand pit with an airless look. Her original huge body also began to shrink and finally transformed back to the human appearance. Sister, is everything okay? Although just now she teamed up with Yunshi to beat Desert Dragon Zaka, she does care about her sister. She knows when it's time to fight and when it's time to love. This is the style of Red Dragon Zaka. You are, sister. Desert Dragon Zaka shook her head and recognized the sister in front of her. Yes, I am Red Dragon Zaka, your proud sister. Red Dragon Zaka stroked Desert Dragon Zaka's head and disliked Yunshi with a grumbling look. You've broken my sister's head. If not, she can't get rid of Black Dragon Zaka's domination. Yunshi helplessly shrugged his shoulders. Shaheen, hug me. After saying hello to her sister, Desert Dragon Zaka began to pamper Yunshi. Well, after Black Dragon Zaka's absolute domination disappeared, she ended up choosing the truest second memory, the one belonging to the third princess, only slightly mixed with some of the first memories. She is the child of the great original dragon, the king of the western desert, married to the prince called Shaheen, and is in her honeymoon period. The lies Yunshi told really fooled Desert Dragon Zaka completely. Shaheen. Red Dragon Zaka suddenly had some kind of very bad premonition. After watching Yunshi lightly pick up Desert Dragon Zaka whose limbs were sore and weak, and started to knead the weak parts of her limbs, Red Dragon Zaka instantly exploded. What is your relationship with my sister? Yunshi looked awkwardly at Desert Dragon Zaka who was pampering herself in his arms. What should he do at this point? Of course it's a couple relationship, I'm already married to him. Desert Dragon Zaka had a rightful expression and told the truth, making Red Dragon Zaka's eyebrows rise. Red Dragon Zaka was so angry that her eyebrows went up. Tell the truth. In a rage, she pinched Yunshi's neck. If he does not explain, she is ready to give him a bloody end. Well, I did marry your sister. In the end, Yunshi could only throw up his hands in surrender and honestly tell the truth about his relationship with Desert Dragon Zaka. Oh my god, isn't my sister dead? In the end, what happened? Red Dragon Zaka felt that her outlook on life, her worldview all collapsed. Her sister, who she thought was dead, was not dead. The Yunshi that she thought belonged to only herself, had married her sister Desert Dragon Zaka long ago. Why didn't you tell me? Why did you deceive me? Red Dragon Zaka's eyes were filled with tears, and the hand that was pinching Yunshi's neck was harder. If the flower had not restrained Red Dragon Zaka's strength, maybe Yunshi's neck would have been snapped like a chicken. I didn't cheat you. You never asked either, what is my relationship with your sister? Yunshi argued helplessly. Ah. Red Dragon Zaka then realized that she really never asked about the relationship between him and her sister. In her perception, both of her sisters had died long ago, and she was carrying the unfinished mission of her sisters, realizing the plan of conquering the world. After meeting with Yunshi, she also never thought about whether the person she likes will have other lovers. Even if there was, it was going to be none, because she would definitely finish the other party off. She was the proud Red Dragon Princess, how could she tolerate her lover having other lovers? But what if that lover is her own sister? In this case, isn't she the third party? It hurts so much, you hit me really unkindly. Desert Dragon Zaka pressed her head with a bitter expression, only her eyes were filled with sweetness. If you keep on beating me, I will become stupid for the rest of my life. You have to take up the responsibility of taking care of me. No matter what, I'm your third princess. The third. Red Dragon Zaka suffered bludgeoning damage again. Sister, you are the third princess, then who are the first and second princesses? This guy, is he? Red Dragon Zaka had a sense of tragedy that the world was coming to an end. Well, this guy, he didn't only marry me. Let me count, the Queen of Assyria is the first princess, her daughter is the second princess, I am the third princess, and Ice Dragon Zaka is the fourth princess. In that order, if he marries you, you will be the fifth princess. Desert Dragon Zaka finished counting the number. The moment she heard this bad news, Red Dragon Zaka felt like she had become a huge tragedy. The person she liked, not only had 2 feet in the boat, but 3, 4, and she seemed to be the fifth. The great original dragon mother, she now wants to bite him to death. I won't marry him, I won't marry him. I won't marry him even if I die. As a representative of the passionate side of the 4 sisters of Zaka, Red Dragon Zaka was extraordinarily intolerant of the person she likes to be philandering. For the human who is a philanderer, it is really better to burn. Red Dragon's flame is perfect for this kind of task. What did you do to her? You villain. Desert Dragon Zaka bit Yunshi's ear. I'm innocent, she's the one who took a swing at me. Yunshi also did not want to become like this. If he had not saved the dying Red Dragon Zaka, then perhaps nothing would have happened. But he would have regretted it for the rest of his life if he had not saved the sister of the princess he had married from the brink of death. Your body, there is a special smell. Probably, as long as it is Zaka, all will like your smell. Desert Dragon Zaka stretched her arms and legs a bit. It's really strange, obviously, her head was badly wounded. After making out with Yunshi like this, Desert Dragon Zaka felt like she came to life all of a sudden. Sure enough, he was the only one who was different. I want to withdraw from the marriage. Red Dragon Zaka roared and shouted out her declaration. Withdraw from the marriage. Yunshi felt confused. Between him and Red Dragon Zaka, there was no such thing as a marriage contract. Retirement. Desert Dragon Zaka was surprised. She felt that there was no happier day in this world than the days with Yunshi. By analogy, Red Dragon Sokka must also have understood how happy it is to be with the person you love, right? Yes, withdraw from the marriage, goodbye, and never see you again. Red Dragon Sokka was serious. Her proud princess heart could not bear the fact that the person she loved did not belong to her alone. Rather than suffer the humiliation, she simply kicked him out. That's the difference between her and her sisters. The Red Dragon Princess will never be a slave. Farewell forever, *E. Turning around, Red Dragon Sokka's determination was unshakable. Then, at a distance of about 1 Sokka away, she fell down, and the whole body rapidly weakened, falling into a near-death state. Hey, she is really a child like you. Looking at Red Dragon Sokka, Yunshi sighed, while holding Desert Dragon Sokka in his arms, walked to the fainted Red Dragon Sokka and extended his right hand. The hand feel was as good as ever, even the rhythm of the heartbeat was so familiar. Oh, miscalculated. Red Dragon Sokka regained her consciousness and looked at Yunshi with hateful eyes. Hate you, I hate you, this philanderer. The young girl's angry roar rang through the sky. Withdraw the marriage. Withdraw the marriage. You liar. Let go of me and untie this thread. Even if I'll die and be buried in a coffin, I definitely don't want to be with you. In response to Red Dragon Sokka's angry rebuke, Yunshi couldn't do anything about it. This green flower is not something that he can create, the way to unlock it, he does not know it either. You saved her, and then the two of them got entangled in the thread. The rejuvenated Desert Dragon Sokka finally jumped down from Yunshi's embrace and curiously kept moving her little hand between Yunshi and Red Dragon Sokka, trying to catch the invisible thread of life. I'm so jealous. Why don't I have this thread? Well, it looks like Desert Dragon Sokka is interested in the play of tying herself and Yunshi together with a thread. You have married my sister, and still dare to seduce me. You shameless bastard. Say. How many other fiancés and lovers do you have? Red Dragon Sokka's anger value continued to rise, especially after finding Yunshi was really counting how many fiancés and lovers he had. Punch. Kick. Fierce bite. Dragon claws. Dragon tail. She used all the attacks that could be used, but unfortunately, under the suppression of the green flower in the heart, all these attacks were just tickling for Yunshi. You two are so close, when will the wedding take place? With a smile on her face, Desert Dragon Sokka looked at Red Dragon Sokka who was scratching and biting Yunshi. Probably this is a special way for her sister to show her love. Sister, what makes you think that we are close? I hate him. I want to eat him. Red Dragon Sokka opened her mouth, revealing her sharp little dragon teeth, and quickly and forcefully bit Yunshi's ear. Actually, he and I got familiar by fighting too. This guy just owes it. When it comes to the history of love with Yunshi, Desert Dragon Sokka has very common words with her sister. A giant dragon would never like a weakling. It took Yunshi showing how strong he was to get the love of Sokka's sisters. That's right, beat him to death. Red Dragon Sokka gritted her teeth and stared at Yunshi who had a helpless expression on his face. Well, this is not the time to talk about that. Here it comes. Yunshi grabbed the two Sokkas in his hands and violently picked up his speed. Boom! The dark dragon that wrapped its body around the last tower of this world poured endless dark air into the first floor of this tower, the Garden of the Four Seasons that symbolizes paradise. As if the great flood of doom had arrived, the entire first floor was quickly submerged and swallowed up, leaving only a fragile ladder shaking. In the huge wave of darkness, Yunshi with two Sokkas, stepping on the ladder that was already about to break, rushing together into the second layer of the tower. Here, a world of ice and snow, formed a stark contrast with the garden in the first layer. They couldn't see what this layer originally looked like, because everything here has been covered with ice and snow. The sky, with black snowflakes falling, emitted an unusually ominous aura. The deep black star suspended in the sky, and under the star was a figure Yunshi was familiar with. Ice Dragon Zaka, who was originally wearing a blue dress, also changed into a black dress. Like a magical girl from the midst of hell, her forehead stretched out a pair of light black dragon horns. The betrayer must die, like Desert Dragon Zaka, who once was dominated by Black Dragon Zaka. Ice Dragon Zaka's eyes were also filled with darkness. Desert Dragon Zaka's god weapon, the Star of the Sand. Ice Dragon Zaka's own god weapon, Force Dragon Teeth. The two god weapons of different attributes were now held in Ice Dragon Zaka's hand at the same time. Black gravel fell on the ground where Ice Dragon Zaka was standing, making this layer of the tower, which had long been covered with ice and snow, become even more bizarre and deeper. I did not betray my mother. Red Dragon Zaka swore that she had never entertained the thought of betraying her great original dragon mother. The charge that her sister had given herself was completely false. It was simply too wrong. Betrayal, unforgivable, dominating the body of Ice Dragon Zaka. Black Dragon Zaka just took a glance at that man, who was embracing her two sisters in each arm, and she made the judgment. All of them are betrayers. Mother, is it? Compared to Red Dragon Zaka, who didn't know anything, Desert Dragon Zaka had some vague suspicions. If Zakas will like the taste of Yunshi, then the so-called betrayal from the great original dragon mother, does it mean? Looking at Desert Dragon Zaka pulling Yunshi's left hand, and Red Dragon Zaka pulling Yunshi's right hand, Black Ice Dragon Zaka's eyes became more and more icy cold. All of you, go to hell. I never thought that I would have to fight with my sister one day. Desert Dragon Zaka moved her arms and legs, and her battle intent was raised high. Ice Dragon Zaka, sister, I did not betray mother. In contrast, Red Dragon Zaka's mood was a bit low, completely unaware of what she had done wrong. Enemy, Yunshi mood is quite mixed. Defeat the evil dragon is the main task he must complete, so it's not wrong for Black Dragon Zaka to regard him as an enemy. But why did he, a brave man who was going to slay dragons, marry the daughters of the dragon? Now there are already 3 Zakas who have an intimate relationship with him. Something must have gone wrong. Bet on the name of the 3rd princess, I'll make you recover, sister. Desert Dragon Zaka leapt up high, and 4 sand eyes appeared around her at the same time, then set into her limbs, giving her superpower and speed. This is Desert Dragon Zaka's all-out fighting mode. The loss of the Star of the Sand did not depress Desert Dragon Zaka, but rather aroused the fighting factor in her body. Even if her clan was wiped out, and even her god weapon was taken away by Black Dragon Zaka, as long as this wild fighting spirit is still there, Desert Dragon Zaka will never be defeated. Mirror, Ice Dragon Zaka moved her fingers and quickly summoned one mirror of ice after another. Of the 4 sisters of Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka has the most stable fighting style. She's not the same as Desert Dragon Zaka, and she's not the same as Red Dragon Zaka. She's good at formulating a strategy and then executing that strategy to win. Like the ice and snow that never melts in the north, she is cold and cruel. Ding! 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 Dozens of ice mirrors were blasted into pieces by Desert Dragon Zaka in one breath, while Ice Dragon Zaka's figure completely disappeared into this world of ice and snow. Relatively, there was more black gravel falling from the black star of the sand in the sky, and the surrounding temperature began to become icier and biting. Is she trying to freeze us all to death? Yunshi, holding Red Dragon Zaka's hand, slightly estimated the surrounding temperature. It was already below -100 degrees. It's difficult to describe the icy world filled with cold fog at this moment, and the fog is definitely not any water fog, but a cold that can completely freeze human blood. Who, gradually, these fogs transformed into some kind of humanoid silhouette, that is the ice creature that inhabits the end of the world, Ice Spirit. They are minions of Ice Dragon Zaka. These white spirits every night will wander in the ice and snow. Once encountered humans, they will take the initiative to approach, and then take away these humans' lives. Because the ice world in the far north has a special law of day and night, half of the time only these spirits who can ignore the temperature are wandering in the earth. With the appearance of ice spirits, the surrounding temperature plummeting became faster. It's cold, my sister is really angry. As a fire dragon and a desert dragon, Red Dragon Zaka and Desert Dragon Zaka are very uncomfortable with this environment. The feeling of ice and darkness coming at the same time is absolutely cold and bone-chilling, like even time is frozen in the deepest nightmare. Why are you hiding? Fight me head-on. The belligerent Desert Dragon Zaka felt all her strength hit the air, and it was the first time she found her ice dragon sister so unpredictable. With all the sand eyes glowing, Desert Dragon Zaka struck with all her might, blasting the ground into a field of spreading quicksand. This move, theoretically, could counteract Ice Dragon Zaka's ice field. With all 4 sand eyes activated, Desert Dragon Zaka still had overwhelming strength. It's ready, Ice Dragon Zaka's figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of Desert Dragon Zaka. Unlike the last battle with the Queen of Assyria, for her sister's moves, Ice Dragon Zaka did not keep any unknown. When Ice Dragon Zaka, who is good at analyzing the opponent's moves and formulating strategies, showed up, it was actually destined to be Desert Dragon Zaka's defeat. The huge black star of the sand descended directly from the sky and pressed down on Desert Dragon Zaka's body, while dozens of silver-white ice chains bound Desert Dragon Zaka's limbs and body, completely suppressing Desert Dragon Zaka. Freeze! The ice-blue glow spread out. Desert Dragon Zaka's body was instantly surrounded by countless ice flakes, and then the entire person was buried into a huge crystal coffin. With this crystal coffin as the center, the entire second floor was covered by endless ice and snow. Even icebergs of over hundreds of meters rose from the ground, completely turning this floor of space into Ice Dragon Zaka's absolute home turf. Next, is you guys. Like an ice queen standing on top of the ice coffin, Ice Dragon Zaka's eyes turned black, like Desert Dragon Zaka's not long ago. Sister. Seeing Desert Dragon Zaka being sealed into the ice coffin, Red Dragon Zaka's eyes instantly turned red. The time spent with Desert Dragon Zaka, the time spent arguing with her sister, and even the time spent gambling, was actually very enjoyable for Red Dragon Zaka, who was only recently born. Because she is such a nagging and adventurous sister. No matter what mistakes her sister made, she will forgive her. Understand? We have to fight. Yunshi held Red Dragon Zaka's hand, and now only if the two of them joined forces with all their strength could they defeat Ice Dragon Zaka. I know, I'll get my sisters back to normal. Red Dragon Zaka nodded her head. Since she and Yunshi could bring Desert Dragon Zaka back to her senses, they must also be able to bring Ice Dragon Zaka back as well. The Ice Dragon Zaka she remembered looked a little cold, but she actually loved to be with everyone. The current Ice Dragon Zaka is definitely not the normal Ice Dragon Zaka. The betrayer must be excluded. Saw Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka holding hands, Ice Dragon Zaka's eyes became angrier. As long as we hold hands. Yunshi once again took Red Dragon Zaka's small hand, and the two looked at each other with affection. It is a memory that will never be forgotten. Red Dragon Zaka was also very cooperative with Yunshi. At this moment facing the terrifying Black Dragon Zaka, only when the two entered the highest synchronized state, there was the light of victory. Snort. It might be an illusion, but an expression that seemed to be stung by something did appear on Ice Dragon Zaka's beautiful face. There was also more than a hint of confusion and uneasiness in her pitch-black pupils. Why is there a dark flame burning in the chest just by looking at the pair holding hands? The young girl's heart suffered a great injury. Look, the sky is burning. Yunxi judged that continuing to let the temperature drop would do more harm than good, so he decisively let Red Dragon Zaka launch the forbidden spell again. Let the entire world burns. Red Dragon Zaka's petite index and middle fingers stood side by side, pointing high and proudly at the sky. Huge fire clouds quickly gathered, forming a scorching cloud that could release a shower of meteorite fire. However, only half of the sky was occupied by Red Dragon Zaka's fire clouds this time, and the other half of the sky was still occupied by the Black Star. The forbidden fire cloud that Yunxi and Red Dragon Zaka released together only appeared in the sky where they were. The entire second floor of the tall tower turned into a world of half ice and half fire. First shot. The second meteoric fire rain came with great force, and the 7-star forbidden spell took shape even faster and more ferociously than when Red Dragon Zaka fought against Desert Dragon Zaka. This also means that the bond between her and Yunxi has become even stronger. After experiencing the jealousy with Desert Dragon Zaka, she, who on the surface seems to have sworn to be at odds with Yunxi, seems to like Yunxi even more instead. In this world, the most moving and unforgettable thing is precisely what you cannot obtain. The strong sense of turpitude will instead make the flame of romance burn more fiercely. Speaking of the personal battle power, she is only inferior to Black Dragon Zaka amongst the 4 sisters. She is the dominator of the flame. In terms of attributes, she has fully restrained her sister, Ice Dragon Zaka. The fire meteor blasted down, and Ice Dragon Zaka's ice field was smashed out of a large crack. Searing hot lava ejected from the ground, like a volcanic eruption. The pillar of fire that connects heaven and earth burns like the scenery inside Red Dragon Zaka's heart at this moment. Her battle power has increased. Ice Dragon Zaka quickly calculated the value of Red Dragon Zaka's battle power at this moment and came up with a very frightening number. It was a number that the original Red Dragon Zaka had not reached, and it was the best proof that her combat power had improved by joining forces with Yunxi. Not only Red Dragon Zaka, but also the sealed Desert Dragon Zaka showed a combat power that did not match the data model. If Desert Dragon Zaka was smarter and hadn't fallen into Ice Dragon Zaka's trap, she might have been able to defeat Ice Dragon Zaka. Why? Why did their fighting power fluctuate so strangely? Second shot. Third shot. With flames burning in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes, 2 consecutive shots of flaming meteors fell. 2 more pillars of fire appeared between heaven and earth, and 2 more volcanic eruptions appeared on the ground. She was not transformed into a dragon posture, but she naturally emitted the aura of the Flame Dominator. All of the 4 Zaka sisters have this aura, but at this moment, Red Dragon Zaka played better than the other 3 sisters, closer to the essence of the original dragon. That is a kind of verve that can do anything and defeat any enemy. Red Dragon Zaka doesn't believe in miracles. What she believes in is herself, or the power of herself and Yunxi after joining forces. Ice. Land. Ice Dragon Zaka unleashed the forbidden spell of ice and snow that was limited to 3 times a day. An endless cold wind of ice and snow blew up, and more ice flakes swept towards the flaming field dominated by Red Dragon Zaka. Red Dragon Zaka swung her small hand down without any fear. Soon, the 4th and 5th flaming meteors fell from the clouds. With an earth-shattering explosion, the forbidden spells of fire and ice each unleashed their full power. The temperature of the air plummeted again, while the 4th and 5th pillars of fire appeared in Red Dragon Zaka's domain. It seemed to be a no-win situation, but Ice Dragon Zaka judged that her forbidden spell was slightly inferior to Red Dragon Zaka's. Her forbidden spell, Ice Land, was a wide-range ice spell for military use, with the power to change the terrain and the sky. The meteoric fire rain was an extremely difficult compound forbidden spell. At the 1-star to the 3-star stage, it's slightly inferior to Iceland. But once it ascended to 6 stars or more, it becomes a super forbidden spell that can change the weather and cause massive damage to a single person. To fight against the 7-star meteor fire rain, the forbidden spell Iceland alone is not enough. She needs stronger ice and snow power. Lift the restriction. Complex spell patterns emerged from Ice Dragon Zaka's pitch-black pupils, and the 2 pieces of god weapon began to fuse in her hand. The Star of the Sand, which represents the sand attribute of Desert Dragon Zaka. Force Dragon Teeth, which represents the ice attribute of Ice Dragon Zaka. The 2 pieces of god weapon are different in nature but come from the same source, the original dragon. They began to combine together to become a stronger god weapon. It's a sword. With a golden spiral sword body, it's as sharp as if it can cut open the boundary between heaven and earth. The hilt of the sword is decorated with dragon teeth. Inscribed on the disc in the middle of the sword body, there are 4 slots that can inlay treasure beads into them. At this moment, the ice treasure bead slot and the sand treasure bead slot have been inlaid with treasure beads. It was a variant of a god weapon, and the part that appeared now was far from the full stance of the sword, but it already gave Red Dragon Zaka a great sense of oppression. When Red Dragon Zaka saw that sword, she could even feel a part of her body stirring inside. It was the original god weapon, core of molten fire, she held. It was resonating with the sword. As the one who has the strongest attack power among the 4 sisters, the god weapon held by Red Dragon Zaka was a dodecahedron-shaped gemstone that provided her with almost unlimited energy, and inside it was a jewel that represented the power of the original fire. In addition to the nightmare treasure bead held by Black Dragon Zaka, this flame treasure bead is the strongest of the 4 treasure beads and has the most destructive power. The 4 treasure beads of sand, ice, fire, and nightmare were given to the 4 Zaka sisters by the sleeping original dragon. The Star of the Sand, inlaid with a sand treasure bead, has an extremely large attack range and the ability to summon an entire desert army, specializing in ranged attacks. Force Dragon Teeth, inlaid with ice treasure bead, can easily change the sky and terrain, and has the most powerful control ability. The Molten Fire Core inlaid with the Fire Treasure Bead holds the power of endless fire, and the Crimson Dragon Roar Wave it contained can destroy the world in minutes. This is the reason why Red Dragon Zaka's Crimson Dragon Roar Wave has such a terrifying spreading ability and its power keeps increasing. The final treasure bead, the Black Treasure Bead that represents the nightmare, is in the hands of Black Dragon Zaka, who should not have woken up at this time, and whose god weapon is unknown. Now, Red Dragon Zaka saw the sword in Ice Dragon Zaka's hand and the empty red and black treasure bead slots, and instinctively understood that her god weapon, the Molten Fire Core, was actually part of that sword. The source of power of the Zaka sisters all came from that sword, so the origin of this sword is self-explanatory. Mother Sama really thinks that I betrayed her. Red Dragon Zaka could not believe that this was the truth. She was actually a good child who was very family-oriented and never had the idea of betraying her mother. From her birth until now, she had definitely not done anything to disobey her mother's orders. She was obviously too good to be a Zaka. Whistle the desert wind. Ice Dragon Zaka raised the golden sword in her hand, and the endless desert gale began to gather around her. The gravel falling from the black star of the sand in the sky was also continuously swept in by this huge storm, forming a black sandstorm connecting heaven and earth around Ice Dragon Zaka. Along with the black snowflakes that kept falling in the ice field, this scene looked incomparable, as if the distance between heaven and earth had become blurred in this instant. Watch out, it's coming. Yunshi held Red Dragon Zaka's hand tightly, sending incomparable enthusiasm and strength to her heart. It was hope and faith, the courage to never give up and go forward no matter what kind of desperate situation they were facing. That is the fighting spirit held by Yunshi. In the dark forest, when facing the almost invincible green hippo. Under the giant tower, when charging at the legions of stone ghosts and red-clad archers. Even when he knew that his opponent was stronger than himself, he still had to challenge and find a chance to win. And, this time, he wasn't fighting alone, was he? Do you believe in me? Grabbing Red Dragon Zaka's hand, Yunshi's eyes became extraordinarily focused. Of course. Red Dragon Zaka nodded. The more she faced the crisis, the more she could feel the rhythm of their heartbeats become intense. Yes, she believed in the man in front of her, even though she knew that he was an A*E who has an unspoken relationship with her sisters. But, she just likes him. She hopelessly likes him. This kind of like, with the passage of time, becomes more and more burning. Even because of his existence, she began to become more and more like the world. She wanted to live in this world with him, with her sisters, and wanted to know more about him. The fondness overflowed and could not be stopped, and she could not control herself for a long time. Then, fight with me. To save this world. After everything is over, I will marry you. Yunshi set out the mission he was carrying, while perhaps making a promise. Since he has had 4 princesses, it was not unacceptable to have a 5th princess. In order to complete the trial of the Dragon War, he really did fight. You big liar. I'm not going to be your 5th woman. Red Dragon Zaka puffed up her cheeks. For Yunshi's words, she did not want to believe a word of it. However, the curve of the mouth reveals her mind, that is a smile immersed in the imagination of a happy future. Burn, my flame. The Yunshi who gained the initiative against Red Dragon Zaka for the first time learned from her fingers and raised his index and middle fingers. In the endless fire, the last few shots of flaming meteors fell at the same time, viciously blasting at the black star of the sand suspended above Ice Dragon Zaka's head. In the midst of the roaring flames, the endless black storm turned into a sword blade, falling towards Yunshi with the momentum of cutting through a world. Explosion. Yunshi decisively detonated the 7 pillars of fire that connected heaven and earth, releasing the full power of the forbidden spell, meteoric fire rain, to confront Ice Dragon Zaka's sword that seemed to slice through the boundaries of heaven and earth. The power of the molten fire core is in full swing. Yunshi can even feel this fire god weapon in Red Dragon Zaka body cheering, recklessly liberating its own boundaries. Searing flames and wild storms intertwined, fiercely entangled in the central area of the ice and fire, tearing and melting each other, forming a flame storm over thousands of meters in diameter. Ha, Yunshi gasped. Although he has Red Dragon Zaka's near-infinite energy support, the 7-star forbidden spell is something that is just too terrifying. If this battle took place in the White Lotus Sword domain, probably under the attacks of 7 shots of flame meteor, the entire White Lotus Sword domain would be blown off from the middle. Ice Dragon Zaka also looked like she had overdrawn her strength. Her face became incomparably pale, and the color of the golden giant sword in her hand became dull. Without Red Dragon Zaka's molten fire core, this sword could not exert its full power, and the sword wind that had the power to tear the world apart just now was only a slice of this god weapon's true power. The complete form of this sword was not intended for the 4 Zaka sisters, but was a weapon belonging to the original dragon. More black gravel fell on Ice Dragon Zaka's body, infusing her with a power that did not belong to her. Yunshi wiped his sweat and held Red Dragon Zaka's small hand again. Each of them smiling. After the battle on the edge of life and death, the bond between them became even deeper. I will fight on, together with you. This is the path we have chosen. As long as we hold hands. It is the memory that will never be forgotten. Faster than the Ice Dragon Zaka that had the support of the Black Star of the Sand, the pair that held hands with each other was the first to recover their strength. Let's do it again. We believe in each other. As long as we love each other, then we can turn the miracle into reality. Not a spell, but better than a spell. It looks like just sweet words between lovers, but it really does inflict real damage to Ice Dragon Zaka. This is something that 100 human forbidden spells can't do, a special mental attack of Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka. Boost, potential, black gravel with even larger dark matter sprinkled around Ice Dragon Zaka, forming a dark canopy. Surrounded by a black canopy, Ice Dragon Zaka became even more unfathomable, and the sense of intimidation she released rose at the same time. Feel that? Yun Shi noticed something. It's not quite normal. Red Dragon Zaka also noticed that her own sister, Black Dragon Zaka, was unconsciously revealing problems. Black Dragon Zaka's domination was a forced domination that gave no room for thought, an absolute command from top to bottom. The Godslayer god weapon that she holds appears to be able to give battle commands without regard to the consciousness of the opponent. It's just that giving battle commands takes time and is more or less delayed. Although such absolute commands can make the dominated person become more powerful, their moves are somewhat inflexible. They can release more than 200% of the usual power, but cannot use their own combat skills to the limit. In numerical terms, Black Dragon Zaka can significantly improve the dominated's physical strength, agility, and even maintain the dominated's best fighting style. The only weakness is the reaction speed, which is why when Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka drove straight in and beat Desert Dragon Zaka on the head, the Sand Eyes failed to intercept halfway. The Desert Dragon Zaka that had 4 Sand Eyes for all around 360-degree defense would not have made that kind of outrageous mistake. Then, let's go on in one breath. Switch battle mode. After discovering Black Dragon Zaka's domination mode's greatest weakness, Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka gave up to continue to use forbidden spells, but launched Thunder Walk, moving at an incredible speed. In terms of human fighting style, Desert Dragon Zaka is more of a warrior type, while Ice Dragon Zaka is more of a mage type, Red Dragon Zaka is a magical warrior type, and Black Dragon Zaka is a mysterious unknown type. Like two thunderbolts running on the ground, sometimes intersecting, sometimes overlapping, the constantly rising spikes of glaciers on the ground were completely unable to stop the assault of the two, all blasted into a shattering mass of ice and snow. Ice armor. Ice Dragon Zaka also responded in a mage style. She directly cloaked herself in a layer of azure ice armor. Its hardness was enough to rival Red Dragon Zaka's lava shield, and even had the special effect of bouncing off the enemy's physical attacks. However, she didn't know that Yun Shi and Red Dragon Zaka were not just a pair that would only launch straight attacks. Dragon Claw. The huge dragon claws tore into Ice Dragon Zaka's body with a teeth-chattering tearing sound, but only left a few white marks on the seemingly thin layer of ice armor. The Ice Dragon Zaka, supported by the power of Black Dragon Zaka, has a magic limit that can strengthen the glacier armor to the limit, and Red Dragon Zaka's claws cannot directly tear through the seemingly thin layer of ice armor. However, Yun Shi is different. The soft water palm, a technique that only a being with a soft body can perform, is a divine technique developed to break through the opponent's hard shell and hit the nail on the head. The snow-white palm turned over. As if pressing his lover's chest, Yun Shi's hand reached out to the azure ice armor, completely ignoring the risk of frostbite on his palm, and gently pressed. What? Ice Dragon Zaka's whole body trembled, revealing an incomparable expression of surprise. Good opportunity. Yun Shi saw the right time and struck Ice Dragon Zaka's right shoulder with 3 consecutive soft water palm strikes, and then grabbed Ice Dragon Zaka's right hand despite the risk of frostbite on his palm, making her unable to use the golden sword that had unpredictable power. This scene was almost exactly the same as when Desert Dragon Zaka was prevented from pulling out the Star of the Sand, except that the opponent was Ice Dragon Zaka instead. I'm sorry, sister. The red dragon Zaka, who was connected to Yunshi's mind, showed no mercy to her sister and also used her chest to press Ice Dragon Zaka's other hand to the ground. Arka! Countless ice crystals exploded, for sand eyes flew over at the same time, and with them came Desert Dragon Zaka's fierce pounding. In just a few seconds, Ice Dragon Zaka, who was still brewing her next move, was overwhelmed by Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, as well as Desert Dragon Zaka, who had just gotten out of the trap. The slightest delay in Black Dragon Zaka's command became the biggest break in the battle. Hit her in the head. Desert Dragon Zaka shouted, swung her own fist and smashed it down, not showing any politeness at all. The golden giant sword suddenly shrank and then was swept away by the black star of the sand in the sky, and Black Dragon Zaka decisively abandoned the already suppressed Ice Dragon Zaka and flew towards the third level. It hurts. What's wrong with me? Why does my head so painful? The Ice Dragon Zaka, who had only just come to her senses, looked at the three people who were pressing their bodies and arms and legs together on her, and revealed a look of extreme contempt. Even if you can get my body, you won't get my heart, stupid prince. Ah, she comes back. Yunshi looked awkwardly at his hand that was pressing Ice Dragon Zaka's chest. Why this hand was in this position? Well, what an unsolvable mystery. Sister. Red Dragon Zaka hugged Ice Dragon Zaka with hot tears, crying like a child. Ha, I didn't hit the head, it wasn't me. Desert Dragon Zaka smiled sarcastically, with an innocent expression of, I definitely didn't do it. Well, it must be this guy's fault, no matter what, it's his fault. Honestly. Tell me what happened. Ice Dragon Zaka pinched Yunshi's face with a serious face. So, Mother Sama thinks that we betrayed her. Ice Dragon Zaka skillfully pinched Yunshi's face and fell into a thoughtful state. I don't understand what's going on at all. I definitely didn't do anything to betray Mother. Red Dragon Zaka's eyes turned red. From birth until now, she has been working hard to complete the task given to her by the original Dragon Mother, and never thought about the word betrayal. Good, good. I know you are a good boy. Ice Dragon Zaka stared at Yunshi as if looking at a scum. It's all you're doing, right? A large bead of sweat fell on Yunshi's forehead. This is really a crime. If he did not save Red Dragon Zaka, she would have died a long time ago. As for why the original dragon thinks that her daughters have betrayed her, Yunshi himself is also confused. With Red Dragon Zaka's straightforward character, to be a traitor is really too hard for her. Is it possible that Black Dragon Zaka misunderstood Mother Sama's will? Mother Sama's true body should still be in a deep sleep. If Mother Sama woke up, it wouldn't be the same as it is now. Desert Dragon Zaka offered a different opinion. Then, is it the Black Dragon sister who is bent on doing what she wants? A spark of hope appeared in Red Dragon Zaka's eyes. Being questioned by the greatest original Dragon Mother, she couldn't imagine that. If it was just Black Dragon Zaka's misjudgment, then it would be acceptable. After all, the youngest sister was also the child with the purest of hearts, so there must be a misunderstanding somewhere. I don't think that things will be that simple. Ice Dragon Zaka shook her head. At least, she felt something from Mother Sama. Otherwise, it should be impossible for her to be born at this time. Unlike the three of us, her scheduled birth time was after the three of us had completely conquered this world. She is the ultimate dragon of doom, the fearsome existence that kills gods, Black Dragon Zaka. Red Dragon Zaka froze for a moment, the fire of hope that had just been kindled in her heart was extinguished at once, and she almost cried her nose off. Why does the sleeping Mother Sama think that we have betrayed her? What is the biggest difference between us and Black Dragon Zaka who should not have been born? If there is really a decisive difference, Ace Dragon Zaka, who had pulled the biggest problem in this war out and analyzed the key to it, suddenly raised her eyebrows and stared at Yunxi. Is that you? The voice was unmistakable. It was the voice that has locked the culprit. It's him. Desert Dragon Zaka shrugged her shoulders. Back when she was possessed by Black Dragon Zaka, she had a feeling that her youngest sister had already found out about it. This should be said to be the wild intuition of love. She was the first to be possessed by Black Dragon Zaka, and understood more than anyone else the purity of that darkness. But when this Black Dragon Zaka, who had the absolute will and the ability to dominate, saw Yunxi, she froze, and her simple mind became confused. This person may be the natural enemy of Zaka's. Now, Ice Dragon Zaka, Red Dragon Zaka have fallen, only the last sister, Black Dragon Zaka, is left untouched. If the betrayal the great original dragon's mother means is this, they are really bad children who have eaten the forbidden fruit that they shouldn't have eaten and committed the unforgivable mistakes. What is it? The youngest of the three sisters, Red Dragon Zaka, still had no idea what she had done wrong, not even realizing that the mistake was irreversible. Is eating fruit that you shouldn't eat. Desert Dragon Zaka turned her head away with a shy look. Probably, because the mother is single, Ace Dragon Zaka said and got embarrassed. This is really a boudoir secret that cannot be told to outsiders. Well, the great, invincible original dragon that birthed four Zakas, is indeed a lonely dragon without any lovers. Mother is single, eating fruit. Is there something in the fruit I ate that made Mother angry? Red Dragon Zaka was still ignorant of her sister's secret words. But Yunxi, who had been impure for a long time, understood it at once and showed an innocent expression of, "It's not my fault." Ahem, it means this, and that. As the eldest sister of the four Zaka sisters, Desert Dragon Zaka got closer to her sister Red Dragon Zaka's ear and began to teach her the things that were not taught in the textbook. What, he and you, this, and that, even do that kind of thing. I was victimized by him. Red Dragon Zaka looked at Yunxi with a bitter expression, almost going to pounce on him and bite him. Liar, big liar. After knowing the reason why she was being chased by Black Dragon Zaka, Red Dragon Zaka burst into tears. If she knew that this was such an unforgivable mistake in her mother's eyes, she would definitely bite him to death as soon as they met and eat him, and definitely not listen to every word he said. This guy's ability to deceive is so terrible. This is a big liar. Now he has done this, and that, everything is finished. Okay, you will become the fifth princess, just forgive him. Desert Dragon Zaka patted her sister's shoulder and said in a serious voice. Marrying this guy is the biggest mistake of this life. However, it is already a fait accompli, just accept this fate. Even at this kind of time, Ice Dragon Zaka also did not forget to sneer. What, the fifth princess? There is no such thing. Not a single possibility. Red Dragon Zaka's little face turned red all of a sudden. Why, you all have such sharp ears. When this guy made his promise, wasn't one of you sealed by the ice coffin and one of you still being dominated by Black Dragon Zaka? That promise was a secret between the two of them. Take it easy. I've already guessed who the sixth princess is. Desert Dragon Zaka had a look of, this can't be a secret. Coincidentally, I also have a list of the 7th to 12th princesses in my mind. Ace Dragon Zaka looked at Yunxi with a scornful expression, as if she was looking at something dirty. The world is screwed. Yunxi covered his eyes and felt like he was pierced with 10,000 holes in his body. Why are my Zakas all monsters? Can we explain to Mother Sama? Why don't we just kick this liar away and go home? Red Dragon Zaka stomped on Yunshi's toes with her high heels, harder and harder. It's useless, we're already on the blacklist. Desert Dragon Zaka shook her head. The married daughters are like splashed water. Mother Sama must be angry hard, so she sent Black Dragon Zaka to hunt them down. Mother Sama is unexpectedly stubborn sometimes, we can't go back. Ice Dragon Zaka also agreed with Desert Dragon Zaka. The youngest sister's early birth is the best proof of that. Perhaps the great original dragon mother has not yet awakened, but has made her attitude clear. It's all your fault, it's all your fault, it's all your fault. Red Dragon Zaka with her small fist constantly pounded Yunshi's head. You were the first, Yunshi tried to argue, and instantly encountered the double scorn of Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka. You must have bullied my sister. She's so innocent, she doesn't know anything, and you have really done it, *E. That's right, he must have grabbed a hold of my sister and then started doing whatever he wanted to her, using all kinds of positions and pretending to be innocent. Yunshi knelt down and raised his hands in surrender. There is no doubt that his defeat rate is 100% when arguing with them. Meeting this big liar is the biggest misfortune in my life. That night, oh. Red Dragon Zaka cried, which completely sat Yunshi the facts of the crime. Yunshi couldn't explain it even if he has 100 mouths. Okay, there's plenty of time to bully him later. Desert Dragon Zaka stroked the crying Red Dragon Zaka's head. Who will understand her time with Yunshi and her bitterness when she saw the prince's wedding? She was cheated by this liar from beginning to end, and even after becoming this guy's princess, she never forgot to teach him a lesson. Well, the battlefield is the bed, she has teamed up with her sister Ice Dragon Zaka and squeezed him dry many times. Congratulations. Things have come to this point. We can only fight side by side with this guy to the end. If it's a combination of we three sisters and this guy, maybe there is still a chance of winning. Compared to Desert Dragon Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka is obviously much calmer. There are 4 Zakas that were bred by the original dragon. In terms of absolute power alone, the longer the Zaka is bred, the stronger it is, so the situation of the 4 Zaka sisters is very simple. Desert Dragon Zaka can conquer the world but can't beat Ice Dragon Zaka. Ice Dragon Zaka can easily suppress Desert Dragon Zaka but is no match for Red Dragon Zaka. Red Dragon Zaka can beat her 2 sisters one by one, but there is nothing she can do against Black Dragon Zaka. The later the birth of Zaka, the more exponential increase in strength. Black Dragon Zaka is unbeatable facing her sisters alone. However, this is not a civil war between the Zaka sisters, there is also a variable. Yunshi, the person who caused the 3 Zaka sisters to be considered traitors by their own mother. He, then, is the key to deciding this victory. Your combined forces are very powerful. Desert Dragon Zaka grabbed Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka's wrists and kept touching them, trying to touch the invisible thread of life. If it's as my sister said, this might be the key to change the situation. After knowing why Yunshi was inseparable from Red Dragon Zaka, Ice Dragon Zaka was also interested in this invisible thread. The 2 of them, Yunshi and Red Dragon Zaka, are basically in a bad situation when they face Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka one-on-one. However, after the 2 joined forces, they were able to beat the 2 Zakas, and even won by a large margin. This reveals some information, whether it is Desert Dragon Zaka or Ice Dragon Zaka cannot be ignored. When it comes to intimacy with Yunshi, they are ahead of their own sister, Red Dragon Zaka. There is no reason for them to lose to the 3rd sister, Red Dragon Zaka. What Red Dragon Zaka can do, they can definitely do as well. Probably, it's the heart. Yunshi tapped his fingertips on the tip of Red Dragon Zaka's bud and felt the increasingly powerful heartbeat. After acquiring Red Dragon Zaka as a host body, the last blessing left by LoveG did not dissipate with time, but became more vibrant. As if that blessing that did not belong to this world was slowly becoming compatible with this world. Amazingly adaptable and tenacious. This flower left by LoveG has brought Yunshi so many surprises. Oh, it's here. Desert Dragon Zaka took the lead and attacked Red Dragon Zaka's chest, and put her ear up to listen to the heartbeat simulated by the green flower. What a miraculous power! I've never seen a flower with this kind of posture. Ace Dragon Zaka is also interested, reaching out her hands from behind to knead her sister's breasts. Sisters, don't keep pressing that place. My breasts are being rubbed by you. The Red Dragon Zaka, who was attacked by her sisters forcefully, was about to cry. Yunshi didn't even know where to look. This feeling, the left side is breast and the right side is breast too, is it heaven, or is it hell? The flower that resides in the heart of Red Dragon Zaka also seems to be very interested in Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka, because they are tainted with the same flavor that belongs to Yunshi. After recognizing their life pattern, this gift from LoveG began to stretch out its own petals. The thread of life, which was originally only one, gradually split into three, connecting one by one to the three Zakas. Chapter 8:10, Three Dragons Alliance. Ace Dragon Zaka was the first to sense the abnormality in herself. Is this it? A little slower, but Desert Dragon Zaka also felt it shortly after. It was the feeling of the invisible thread that connected them to Yunshi. Through the flower at Red Dragon Zaka's heart, three threads of life were connected to Yunshi. If there is any difference, it is probably that the threads of Desert Dragon Zaka and Ice Dragon Zaka are much longer than those of Red Dragon Zaka. The thread of Desert Dragon Zaka is about 7 times longer than that of Red Dragon Zaka's. The thread of Ice Dragon Zaka is about 5 times longer than that of Red Dragon Zaka's. Moreover, after a little experimentation, even after leaving this range, the girls whose hearts were not missing did not enter the near-death state, but only temporarily disconnected from the thread of life. However, once you have tried the feeling of being connected to Yunshi, you will soon become addicted. It is a wonderful state where life is connected and mutual thoughts can be felt. The two Zakas, who had long been with Yunshi, quickly adapted to this state of connection. Hey, I'll try it too. Desert Dragon Zaka pretended to hold out her index and middle fingers and raised her head. Meteor fire rain. Sadly, no flaming meteors fell, but instead a sandstorm blew over and began to coalesce sandstorm in the sky. Well, it looks like even with the link, she can't go beyond her domain to perform the forbidden spell that only Red Dragon Zaka can use. However, through the connection, Red Dragon Zaka's unique unlimited energy was shared by Desert Dragon Zaka, as evidenced by the sandstorm that was gradually forming in the sky. It's so good. Desert Dragon Zaka happily hugged her sister, Red Dragon Zaka, and kept rubbing her cute little face. You're really my most excellent sister. Oh, is this the soft water palm? Because of the completely conflicting attributes, Ice Dragon Zaka did not intend to master Red Dragon Zaka's power like Desert Dragon Zaka, but instead switched a direction. The gentle little hand caressed the earth, and the cold freezing air seeped into the ground, then exploded. This is certainly not Yunshi's soft water palm. Just like the thunder blast in Red Dragon Zaka's hand becomes a lava blast, Ace Dragon Zaka has comprehended the cold ice palm from the soft water palm that best suits her attributes. The freezing air will penetrate the defense of the person hit by this move, completely freezing the internal blood. The appearance of body shows no damage, but the internal life has long been cut off. In contrast, Yunshi also have acquired their proprietary natural abilities. Desert Dragon Zaka's combat talent, Frenzied Outburst, Sand Eyes Domination. Frenzied Outburst, the more furious you are, the more power you can release, at the cost of draining your strength. Sand Eyes Domination. Desert Dragon has strange sand eyes which will increase with Desert Dragon Zaka's mood change. If necessary, it can fuse with Desert Dragon Zaka to enter the strongest war mode. Ice Dragon Zaka, S Battle Talent, Frost Field, Ice Armor. Frost Field, the temperature of the area nearby you will continue to drop until a certain threshold. Release the forbidden spell Iceland will reach this threshold in advance, summoning many ice spirits. Ice Armor, Ice Dragon's super strong armor, automatically stimulated in a crisis, almost immune to all ice spells. It can also automatically reflect physical attacks. The thinner the armor is, the greater the reflected power would be. In addition to these almost natural abilities, Desert Dragon Zaka also mastered many forbidden spells such as Quicksand Vortex and Sandstorm Star. Ice Dragon Zaka also has ice spells such as Permafrost Ice Coffin and Frost Blade. The spells they use, without exception, do not require any incantation, which is as engraved in their bloods, 10 times stronger than that of ordinary human mages' spells. If a human mage uses the same spell to attack them, it is absolutely suicidal. Red Dragon Zaka, the youngest of the 3 Zaka sisters and now the only one with a god weapon, has even more amazing attributes. Infinite will to fight. Red Dragon Zaka's will to fight is unshakable, and she will fight to the end even if she is in a desperate situation. Infinite energy. Red Dragon Zaka has nearly infinite flame essence. As long as the body does not collapse, it can constantly obtain the support of the molten fire core. Lava body. Red Dragon Zaka's body is flowing with the hot dragon blood, which can let her swim in lava, ignore all flame attacks, and reduce more than 90% of physical attacks. From the information fed by the lifelines, the youngest sister of the 3 sisters deserves the name of the Red Dragon Princess. The infinite energy she provides can even replace some of the effects of God Weapon, allowing the 2 sisters who lost their respective God Weapons to regain their peak status. And the person who gets the biggest benefit, naturally, is Yunxi. The power of the 3 Zakas can be perfectly complementary because they come from the same source, and for Yunxi, it is completely additive. Not as simple as 1 + 1. After getting part of the origin power of the 3 Zakas at the same time, Yunxi could even clearly feel that his blood, nerves, and even thinking speed had improved by leaps and bounds. For the first time, he saw his heroic rank threshold. After stacking 3 Zakas' racial values at the same time, he finally touched the limits of this body. In terms of combat power, even if he has not yet broken through that barrier, Yunxi, with the help of the Battle God Seed, has long surpassed the limits of a normal hero rank. However, his comparisons are always his invincible childhood sweetheart and that pair of twin witches. Yunxi's common sense has always been dead wrong. Good, I now declare. The 3 Dragons Alliance is formed. After experimenting with the life link, Desert Dragon Zaka proudly raised her index finger. Ice Dragon Zaka, on the other hand, held up her middle finger. Red Dragon Zaka, on the other hand, raised her ring finger. Well, a small alliance, a 3 Dragons Alliance of 3 Zaka, was born. You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.